Here we go. Pretty sure we're live. Let me check the channel. Copyright.
Oh no! Oh no! It's original. I promise.
Wait, are you serious?
No.
No.
No. Soul's quaking his boots.
Yeah, don't scare me like that.
Yeah, we good. If anything, we'll let it out. I mean, we'll get told.
All right, we sound good.
All right, cool.
Thank you, man.
All
You
right,
don't sound so bad.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I'm just gonna tweet it out, and then we'll be good to go. Sorry, so I got no other crazy story for you this week. That happened. It was pretty original. I mean, work was crazy, but
Ooh.
let's see.
We're family-friendly podcast. Psych.
Because you guys know that I work at a news station, and lo and behold, actually, the character I'm playing as TMNT today is April O'Neil, who works at a news station. Lifetime reporter. Yeah, when news broke out yesterday, that was like all hands on deck. Everyone was like, "Get to your station now!" It gets absolutely wild at a news station when like big national breaking news happens.
Yeah.
Literally with anything, it's kind of crazy.
It was like all day. I mean, it was like constant updates, right?
Yeah, more or less. It was more of like I think because the biggest thing when big breaking news happens is the reactions that follow from it, and it's not just reactions from the citizens or whatever the case may be, right? Like on the street, like what do you think about this? Blah blah blah. It's more about like, oh, Senator John says has this statement against this and that, or the mayor says this. So it's a bunch of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll just keep funneling in because everyone says something about whatever. So,
right.
But yeah, it gets pretty hectic. People don't take breaks. Some people just don't leave. So it gets pretty wild. Damn. Yeah, it gets pretty wild.
But... Sounds like crunch a little bit.
How are you saying like that?
It's very much crunch.
Sounds controversial.
Sounds like that Nestle's chocolate bar, man.
Oh man.
Oh man. Oh, it ain't that sweet though.
Or that crunchy and delicious,
Oh, no, but there's definitely a lot of crunch, that's for sure. But we get the job done, and everything looks amazing. Kind of like The Last of Us 2,
Oh man. It's kind of like almost like Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah.
Sheesh.
Golly. What was it? 100 hours per week? Golly. Not much. So you're not against just start interviewing you. So you're not against this movement, huh? You're not against the crunch movement?
Oh man, let's just say I like my salad crunchy, right?
Oh, those croutons, huh? Golly.
Extra cheesy.
Extra
cheesy.
All right, you guys ready?
Born ready.
I believe so. Give me 1 second. Make sure that I actually did this right.
Talk about that man.
Yeah, go for it. All right. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go, April.
Oh, what the fuck? Okay.
You're not ready. What?
Guys, I was trying to add some tags to the podcast, but we're good. All right, guys, welcome to the 66th episode of the DualShock Sense Podcast. I am your host, Soul, Connoisseur Anime Waifus, joined, as always, by my two co-hosts. We have Walt here. How you doing, man?
Episode 666. 66. Sorry, guys. Almost felt compelled to Hell Satan. So, man, we're doing good. Video games and not news. A weird week. Interesting week. I feel very relaxed right now. I drank some coffee. It might cause some troubles in a few hours because coffee in the morning, it'll ripple some oceans in my stomach. You know what I mean?
You're still not over the Taco Bell? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Now it's coffee, man. Because here's the thing. Usually, I drink my coffee, I drink it iced. And that doesn't cause anything in my stomach. But when I drink hot coffee, and especially if I did it the night prior and then the morning of, Oh, buddy.
It's kind of weird how that works, right?
It's weird. It's super weird. I don't get it. I haven't researched it. So probably someone knows. I don't care. I just know that it causes that, so I'll go ahead and drink it ice and I'll feel good. But we good, man.
Gotta stay
Can't wait
out
to
that
talk some video
Bustelo,
games.
man. Gotta stay out
What was
that
that?
cafe. Gotta stay out that Cafe Bustelo. That's why.
Oh, Dios mío. No, and the cafe I drink is cafe con leche, which is like en cafe rico, which is from Puerto Rico. So that one doesn't cause as many ripples as others. But yeah, we here and we ready. We're ready to clown on each other, and we're ready to talk some games and some PlayStation, because that's what we are, a PlayStation podcast, right, guys?
Oh my gosh, well.
We also got Macho here. How you doing, man?
What's up, everybody? It's the King of Kingdom Hearts and the Final Fantasy fanatic. I promise you my intro will be as
False.
cringy or as personal.
False.
But
No,
regardless,
you love Kingdom Hearts. You're already cringy, bro.
yeah, I don't know about that one, buddy. It's not as cringy as talking about my bowels, but any case, any case, here in point, man. Welcome to DualShock Sense. I'm excited to be here. We had a really fun and packed week. I'm excited to talk about games, man. It's gonna be good. Got some good topics today, don't we, so?
Exactly, yeah, we do. Guys, before we do get started, I want to remind you all to go ahead and like the podcast, share it out, leave a comment, as long as it's not, a bot comment telling us to click on a link, then yeah, go ahead, feel free to. Yeah, man, let's get started by talking about the games that we have been playing this past week. I'll kick things off because mine is pretty short. Guys, I tried. How do I start this one off? Oh, first of all, I picked up The Outer Worlds, man, the greatest game ever. I started playing it again. I'm having so much fun in that game. I'm kidding.
Blink twice if you're a hostage.
Blink twice if there's a gun pointed at your head.
Oh man. I was say, did you get a free
kidding.
Xbox? Oh man.
Nah.
Got that yellow chair?
I'm on that Xbox payroll. Nah. I'm totally kidding. That game is still not on my dashboard. But what I did drop was Batman Arkham Knight.
What?
Oh,
You're so close
no.
though.
Well, actually, you tell me. So, I beat Scarecrow.
Yeah.
I did the whole thing where I was like tied down to that table or whatever, and he stabbing me with the fear toxin, and Batman was seeing shit. Batman got unmasked and all that stuff, and Jason Todd came and freed him, which didn't make any sense to me. But then after that, it's like, oh, you have to do the Alpha Protocol or whatever it's called, and you have to
protocol. Yeah.
yeah, and you have to fucking what is it? Take down like 6 of Gotham's like most wanted in the city, and the moment that was said to me, I was like, fuck that, and uninstalled the game.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, so what I'll tell you is that that's where I stopped playing the game too, and to me that's beating the game. The Nightfall Protocol is quote unquote the true ending, but again that's what you get for beating all the side content. But yeah, to me like you don't have
fake
to
Batman fans. Golly.
Hey man, I actually got a Did you get a platinum Arkham Knight?
Shit, yeah, the hell up.
Exactly. To me that's like you beat Scarecrow. That's like the comic book ending. That what you get afterwards is basically like the extra pages in the deluxe edition of a comic book.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I feel like first of all that game is just like way too fucking long. Like that game was giving me carpal tunnel. Like I couldn't like that shit hurt to play eventually. Like at like hour 35, like I wasn't having fun playing that game anymore.
Damn.
So like I feel like if they shaved off like even like at least 5 hours at the most of that story, like it would have been fine. But yeah, it got to a point like especially like Macho, those big brute kinds of enemies where you have to circle and then you beat down. Where Batman's just pressing square over and over and over again. Like sure, that was fun in like Arkham City, but then like hour 30 of doing that, it's just like, god damn, like my wrist is fucking killing me, man. Like I don't want to do this anymore.
Especially the ones that have knives at the end of their hands and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, man, and it's funny because like I remember telling you guys like, hey, I'm actually having a little bit more fun with the combat in this game versus the past 2 games. Like yeah, it's still button mashy, but there's like a little bit more that you have to be wary of in this game versus the other 2. And then like yeah, that was true for like again like the first like 10, 15 hours of the game, but you stretch that over for an extra 15 hours, and it's just like, nah, man, like I'm just not having fun anymore. So yeah, that's Batman Arkham Knight. Um, yeah, I guess I beat it. Who knows? And what's truly a shame to me is that like I want to play the Batgirl DLC. Like I really wanted to go through that, and like for now that's just like on the back burner. Like I'm so burnt out with that game, especially because like I did a lot of the side content. Like I put both Two-Face and Penguin in jail, right? Like I freed Catwoman. Like I did a lot of the side stuff. I think I did like all of the like the bombs and like the watchtowers as well. But there's still so much that you have to fucking do, man, and it's just like I'm burnt out. So yeah,
Yeah, I hear you. I think I know you installed it, but definitely keep it in, I guess, in your backlog list, so to speak, because I think that side content is worth doing, just for the villain cameos alone. It's something I plan on doing if I still get that itch before watching or before playing Gotham Knights and all that. But it's to me, it's worth doing, just seeing like the resolution to those characters. Especially some are like really throwaway, like I don't want to spoil anything for you, but like some of them do involve like the Batmobile and stuff like that. But I think the ones you mentioned before, you said you put Two-Face, you already rescued Catwoman, you did
and
Penguin.
Penguin.
Yeah, I think there's
Yeah.
a couple more too, but if I don't know if there's maybe look it up and see if there's something that would appeal to you if you want to go back
Yeah,
to
and
it.
then
But
like, of course like I already met Hush, which was pretty cool.
oh yeah, yeah, that was
Um,
a cool one too. Yeah.
yeah, but then yeah, besides that, like fuck, is the Riddler thing like included in the protocol thing? Like, do I have to do all the goddamn Riddler trophies and
I
take him down?
I don't remember that
I
actually.
don't remember either. I just remember doing it because I was like, yeah, this is the only one I'm actually enjoying doing, but I don't know if it was part of Nightfall. I know I got the ending.
Think, yeah, I think I did that more for the trophies than the actual ending, but I could be wrong.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, that's that. Let's see. The still chipping away at Hitman 2 here and there. So something weird happened in between last podcast and this one was in all the sort of like talks of Dragon's Dogma, I was like, you know what? Like, yeah, I put that game down for I don't know what reason specifically. I think I was just like swamped with other games and it kind of pulled my attention away.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Let me go back to Dragon's Dogma and just go back in there and see if I can finish it. Funnily enough, I was literally on the last mission of that game
Wow.
before I walked away. Like literally, like I opened my quest log and I have like some like little side quests in there, but like the main quest literally says the final battle. I was like, what? Why did I not finish this?
Oh, that's adorable. You didn't want it to end.
Yeah, I guess so. So yeah, I mean that's what I did over the week. I beat Dragon's Dogma, and let me tell you guys, like this game, I think it came out in 2012, but like I don't know why. Maybe I just don't remember how cinematic games were back in 2012. But I was like really taken aback and just like, god damn, like this game, like the production value in this final fight is like something out of like Uncharted. Like it is fucking wild. So you're basically fighting this huge dragon who's the final boss in the game, and it's like it's like he has like goddamn like 8 health bars, I want to say. It's a multi-stage fight where you're almost like Crash Bandicoot style. Like the first phase you're like running away, like running down a hallway while he's chasing you. There's another one where you have to shoot like ballistas at him while he's like soaring in the air. And
What is this game, dog?
It's fucking awesome, man. It's pretty cool. The main way you deal damage to him is like you literally have to like climb on his body like Shadow of the Colossus style, and you have to climb onto his heart and attack the heart specifically. But the big problem is that like he can shake you off, he can grab you and fucking throw you onto the ground and things like that. There's another like midway through the fight, you literally like climb onto his tail and he like soars like into the air, and it's like almost like a cut. Like I don't know if you guys remember that one part in God of War 2018 where you fight Boulder on top of the dragon. It literally reminded me of that, where like you're slowly like climbing like on this dragon's tail while he's like trying to shake you off. and then like he at one moment he does actually like shake you off. You're just like soaring like aimlessly in the air. Like it's cinematic is like the word that I keep going back to. It was just really impressive. But yeah, so eventually I did, and then the funny thing is that like so eventually yeah I the main thing about this battle is that he's a talking dragon and he's like a god or something like that. I don't really remember, but he somehow some way he like kidnaps the person that you romance in the game, and he has that person like running around his like little chamber being chased around by goblins, and he's like, oh, you have to make a choice, like, do you want to actually kill me, or will you sacrifice your lover's blood to me and join me, or something along those lines. And so yeah, basically it boils down to, do you actually want to fight the dragon, or will you sacrifice your lover? And the thing is, like, I don't fucking remember romancing this person like whatsoever, man. And it's not the person I wanted to romance at all. It's like this like weird like witch girl in the woods. There was this cute little knight girl that I saved earlier in the game that I thought I romanced because I gave her a gift, but apparently that wasn't good enough. So yeah, after you beat the dragon, like you have sex with the person that you romance, and I'm like, what? Like, I didn't want to romance this person like at all,
Oh
man.
man.
Yeah,
You were just watching a sex scene for a girl you knew nothing about. That's wild.
exactly, man.
Damn, it sounds like an episode of How I Met Your Mother.
Oh man. But yeah, so defeated the dragon. I thought I saved the world, but literally like the main city in the game, like half of it collapses. And I wanted to bring up this specific moment because it reminded me something like straight out of Dark Souls. It was so fucking cool. So credits rolled. I beat the main campaign, and it moves straight into the end game.
Ooh.
And the end game, it reminded me like picture the Battle Frontier in Pokemon Emerald. Like, it's like you roll credits like you beat the Final Frontier, but there's this whole other like meta game that you can do after you beat the main campaign.
Oh, I love that.
So the thing that reminded me of Dark Souls is that you go to the main city where like literally half of it just caves into itself, and it creates this giant crater in the middle of the city. And like the whole sky is like darkened. There's like from this hole, dragons start like flying up like out of the hole. And your main character, she kind of like or she, because I made her a girl.
You can be she or he, yeah.
Right. So she walks out onto the edge, and she is like looking down through the hole, and you hear sort of like a voiceover of like the dragon, what he said to you before you actually killed him. And he says something, it's very vague, but he says something along the lines like, if you look through it, you'll see like the truth staring back at you, or something like that.
Ooh, that's some Eldritch shit.
So your character like looks down the hole, and it's like literally like after all the dragons like fly out of it, you see like, I don't know, this bright light. It's very cloudy, very misty, right? You can't see the bottom essentially, but your character looks down at it, and it zooms like all the way to the bottom, but then it does like this weird thing where it's your character is like looking at herself.
Whoa.
Like, I don't know how to really explain it, because like, yeah, you look down, and then it zooms all the way down, and then it's like the camera comes out from like the sky, and it's back to your character like looking down a hole. So it's almost like your character is like, I don't know, like from the clouds looking down at herself. Like, that's the best way I can explain it. It was really trippy and really cool. Anyway,
Damn.
you can actually jump down the hole, and like it does like this little mini game where like, you're like soaring, and you have to like grab onto an edge or whatever. And basically the whole end game is you have to like it's almost like the Chalice dungeons, I guess.
Oh.
Where you're in this underground sort of like ruin, and you're exploring. You have to collect like 20 of these like specific shards or something like that. And they're all like locked in these like specific like little dungeons, but you'll find like a weird sort of never before seen demon at the end of each of these dungeons, and it's like a mini boss essentially. And they're like guarding each of these shards, and I think there's 20 in total, and once you collect all 20 of them, there's like some quest tied to that or whatever. So yeah, that's the end game. But yeah, I sort of like with Batman, I was like, you know what, I'm good. I rolled credits. I don't need to see anything else from this game. So yeah, obviously I'm not gonna do all 20 of that. I just did like 3 just to get like a little flavor of it. Um, but yeah, so that's pretty much it. Really, really cool game. Um, Again, it's so cool because like this thing came out in like 2012, but like it was doing things like right, like this was before The Witcher. This was around the same time as Skyrim. Like this thing was doing a lot of things that like I feel like a lot of games just like weren't doing. Like
Hmm.
even now, like I don't know, it's a predecessor to a lot of cool things, and I don't know. It's gotten like my respect. It's a really really cool game. I think my big hope, and the combat is fucking awesome. I really love the combat. I hope for the sequel, my two biggest things is I hope they add a combat roll because like if you're fighting other enemies, you're kind of fucked because like the only thing you could do is just like raise your shield or like jump to like avoid attacks. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, the combat is awesome because you can be literally a mage, you can be a ranged fighter, or you know just a good old fashioned fighting with a sword and a shield, um, or you can have like dual daggers and then things like that. Right? It's
Yeah, or
class
like a bow.
based. Yeah, yeah.
Do you think they're gonna
And then
release a remaster of it before the second one comes out?
I mean that's what Dark Arisen is.
Yeah, Dark Arisen it has expansions and is a remaster of the original.
Yeah,
It's like the way to play the game
When
essentially.
did that come out?
I think 2017.
Oh, okay, that's fairly recent then.
Yeah. Yeah, so like really aside from that, I think my other biggest hope is in terms of like exploration, this came out at a time where like it was very much, you know, like Gears of War or like Resistance, that kind of color palette where everything is just like muddy, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, and that's very like this game as well. Like the environments are kind of boring. Like there's, you know, some settlements, like major settlements you can go to. There's like one giant city which is really cool, but aside from that, like there's not much variety in where you're going. Like everything is just kind of looks bland and the same. There's a lot of caverns, things of that nature. So I really hope that with the next game that they really expand upon that and make it like, you know, add more cities, make it a little bit more colorful, make the places that you're going to more interesting and things like that.
they're using
Um,
the RE engine, right?
yeah, yeah, for two.
Okay, that's gonna look amazing. It's gonna
Yeah,
look
for sure.
phenomenal.
And then also there's a lot of like it kind of tying into exploration. I hope that they add like horses or some kind of way to be able to get from place to place quicker because there's a lot of backtracking in this game and the fast travel is so convoluted in this game, almost kind of like Dark Souls, where it's just kind of like needlessly like you're jumping through all these weird hoops in order to just just let me fucking fast travel, man. But like, you need like a specific like finite item to be able to do that. It's kind of like one of those things.
Hmm.
But yeah, there's a lot of backtracking, and like a lot of times it's like you're running through the same areas, and the enemies will respawn. So you're fighting the same areas if you're wanting to go from one point of the map to the other, which is kind of tiresome. So I really hope that if they are going to continue with that backtracking, like, um, please introduce horses or something to let me get from place to place faster than in this game. But really, besides that, man, it was a really fun experience. Like I said in previous podcasts, I think I have like over 50 hours into that game.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, really fun. Love the RPG aspects of it. Um, the cutscenes were really, really well done as well. Like, yeah, I don't know, all around, man, just a solid game. But yeah, that's it for me. This past week. What about you guys?
To that point, I downloaded Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen a couple days ago.
Nice.
Yeah, I
Actually,
bought it too.
yeah,
It's waiting for my Steam Deck.
Yeah.
I bought it for Xbox actually, so I'm playing it on my Series S. And dude, I agree with everything Soul has said. I'm like 3 hours in. I'm not even like I'm literally in the first settlement that you have to travel to. But the reason is not because I'm like overwhelmed or because there's nothing to do, but it's because it's taking me a minute to kind of take everything in. Because there's a lot of customization options. You know how people like argue about what game has RPG mechanics? Oh, this is barely an RPG, or this game doesn't have like progression system. I think that this game has a lot of ways for you to feel like your own person. First of all, the character creation. There's so many options. There's so many different types of combination that you can do for your character. The moves, I really like how it functions because you don't. It's not a combo system. It's a skill system. So essentially, you assign different moves to each button. You could have like a flurry of blade, or you could have a very strong attack where you start in one point and like that samurai style where they unsheath the sword and then they hit the enemy. Imagine that, but with daggers. Like it has a lot of options. The one I chose was the Strider, which is essentially the dagger wielding and bow wielding like long range. It's like the most balanced class to start with.
Nice.
Which to that point, it doesn't really matter what you start with because I think eventually you're able to just use whatever.
Well,
use
by the
magic
way,
that
you sound very staticky.
Oh, do I?
Yeah, on the stream. By the way.
Let me pause this.
Yeah, go ahead and fix that. I'll say to that point that you can change your vocation like as you go out, like go along through the game. So like if you are not feeling the dual wielding daggers with the bow, then you can switch to, okay, let me try out the mage, or if I'm not feeling the mage, let me try to a classic sword and shield type of character. So that's always nice as well.
And I love that because I don't like it when a game. By the way, how do I sound? Let me know if I sound better or not. I like it when a game does give you that option of when you get strong enough, you're able to do other things. I don't like it when it's like a Dark Souls situation or an Elden Ring situation where although you can level up any class you want, your base stats will remain the same on that playthrough no matter what. If you chose, Vagabond or Samurai, or whatever the case may be, your base stats will always be the same and you cannot change that. I like it when a game is like, okay, we get it that maybe you've gotten this far and you hate this class. Here, you can use magic now. Here, you can be a fighter now. And I like that. I hope that also to that point of adding stuff on the second one, I hope they add more classes or more fighting styles because although I like, magic, long range, and close range, I would very much love to see something more like elemental or something more like a fighter, like a monk, like you're with fighting with your fists or martial arts or something. That'd be super cool. This game is very classic, like it feels very classic RPG. It really reminds me of The Witcher in the terms of quality, because to Soul's point, it doesn't feel like it was made like in the early 2010s. It doesn't feel like I literally started the game and I was like, wait a minute, am I playing? Is this an old game? God damn!
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. This is some great. The voice acting is great. The writing is actually good. I'm not a writer, but I think it's. I mean, I'm a writer, but I'm not. I haven't written a book like someone here. Like, I really think
it's really old English too, man. Like
it is.
It's not like, I don't know, like the English that I feel, the British that we're kind of used to and like use, but like it feels like something out of like Shakespeare. Like it's fucking weird, man.
Yeah, that's actually what Final Fantasy 14 does, where like you have to really respect the writing in that game.
Yeah,
just because like they're messing with thou and shit, and like all these like old terms, and you're just like, wow, like it actually, I feel stupid just for like even listening to stuff.
It's literally like, hear ye.
Yeah.
Like that kind.
Or yonder.
Yeah.
And it's not over, it's oer, O-E-R,
Yeah.
But regardless of that, it really doesn't feel out of place. It doesn't feel satirical. It feels serious. Like the stakes are high. Like very much like. And there's a whole system of you having allies, and there's a whole lore to it. Much I'll wait for you to like dive into the game so we can talk more about it because it's really interesting. And to Soul's point, he talked about the dragon. It makes sense that it's the final boss. It's the whole point of the game because you're like this chosen one. And you need to defeat the dragon.
And there's other ones that you can meet just like walking around in the fucking wild too, man.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah.
And I like, this is something I really appreciate of this game. It's not open world, it's open zone. It's not something that you're in an area, and in order to cross into a city, you have to go through a gate that has a loading screen. And it's not, it's not like a 2 minute, it's like a couple seconds, and then you enter. But I like the fact because it allows for the zones and the areas to be more filled and more varied, and for there to be more things to do in those. Like, big mistake I did. So I went back to the city that you start in, the fishing village, and you walk in, and to my left, there's like this dude that wasn't there when I first left, and I was like, okay. And I talked to him. He's like shivering on his boots, and I'm like, what's wrong with this dude? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I was hiding when the dragon came to attack. I didn't help. I feel so bad. I'm sorry. But then when I was hiding in the well, I heard some growls, and I think it's really bad. I don't think you should go there. And you have the option to investigate or not. And my stupid butt was like, you know what? I'm going to go explore. And I went to explore. And it's a whole cavern system underneath the city. It's like there's it's through a well. There's the caves and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And I'm like stealthy. I'm like being careful. Don't attract any attention. If we see anything bad, we're gonna attack it. We're gonna jump on it because I already have like some allies. And I hear one of my allies, an enemy, attack! And I'm like, wait. Where? Where's the enemy? And you just see them dive from a cliff to the bottom of like a cavern, and I see these fish people or whatever, and I'm like, oh sweet. And I jump in and I start doing like a lot of skills that I had unlocked, and the health is not going down, and I'm like, wait, is this like a high level area? Needless to say, that enemy attacked me once, and it one shot me. And I was like, oh.
You got wrecked.
Oh, okay. The game told me, buddy, we told you to upgrade your skills and equipment. We meant it. And it's so...
We meant it.
It was so humbling.
Please be excited.
Be excited that there's actual progression to do here. And it felt like fair, because it felt like these things were like out of my league. I was like, okay. And I didn't. It sent. This is where I don't like what happened. It sent me back to like a save that was like 20 minutes prior. And I was like, okay, I guess I have to save like every now and then. Like the autosave is very scary. Yeah. It's like very sporadic. It doesn't have like a constant autosave, which sucks. But it's not game breaking or experience like damping. Dude, I'm so excited to keep playing more. I haven't felt this much excitement to play an RPG since like The Witcher, like a fantasy RPG, like a true fantasy RPG. And it's dark. It's not edgy. It doesn't feel forced. The question that went through my mind constantly was, why did I not play this game earlier, like sooner? Why did I not?
It went under the radar for a long time.
Yeah, it's definitely a cult classic.
Yeah.
Dude, more. I'm glad that they announced the second one. Definitely more people are going to be picking this up, and they did for sure. I mean, I saw Dr. Mo also pick it up. Like, there's a lot of people that are going to be picking up this game.
Yeah, Benji even said, I think like it hit like nearly 30,000 players on Steam because of the sale and because of the announcement. Yeah, so
that's crazy. And I never thought. I think this game never went as big as Dragon's Dogma Online. But that one never. I think that one never came to the West. I think that one only stayed at Japan. And that one was like even more varied than this one, like even more complex and more intricate. And I wonder how that online experience would translate to like the West. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm really loving it.
I guarantee that's probably gonna be a good part of the sequel too, like some form of co-op.
Dude, a co-op would be amazing in this game, because this game would Soul mentioned that you can, you have to get on the dragon, whatever. That's a thing. There's an option called grab in the game. Essentially, you can pick up enemies, just because if you can, or if you're strong enough, you can go on top of monsters and start slashing at them like Shadow of the Colossus. Like, that's a thing you can just do. And it feels so unique for some reason. It feels like it's desperate, and I love it, because you're like, god dang you! I feel like Drax on that monster's back in Endgame. but yeah, man, it was really good. Aside from Dragon's Dogma, I finally 100%ed Kirby. I got the little. I I need to read this for Soul. So I sent.
Hey man, don't laugh at Kirby, man.
No, there's a good reason why. You find
Listen.
out.
Okay, Kirby Forgotten Land. There's this figure system. It's like essentially like action figures that you get for completing certain objectives, and you can just there's a little like a gotcha machine that you can put money into.
No, not Kirby gambling. What?
It's like a way for you to collect these figures, and some of them you can only get through objectives, and it's a really cool way of them tracking progress. So like there's this tournament that you have to do, and it's really difficult, and once you beat it you get a special figure. It's like, oh cool, that symbolizes that you completed it. So I like that way of symbolizing completion. However, there's a completion action figure that I believe it involved beating a certain level like to its entirety, like a set of levels, 100% those levels, and you get a Kirby truck. So you get Kirby swallowing a truck, right? The mouthful mode. Mm-hmm. And the description is as follows. So, to save two worlds, Kirby's final mouthful must be his biggest. It looks like a lot to handle, but he seems totally fine somehow. Go Kirby. Carry your elflings, combine hope for the future. Race through the sky and deliver the final blow. So...
yeah, go Kirby. Suck on that truck, man.
The final blow.
What's insane is that, guys, this game is, first of all, I think this is probably the greatest Kirby game ever made. Second of all, this game has some of the craziest like abilities, and some of the most creative, and some of the most badass and most satisfying to use. And on the final battle, you're essentially, so you know how in the trailer they tease, oh, there's like it's like enraptured by nature. It's like a lost, forgotten city and whatever.
Tell me more about mouthful mode. I want to know more about that. What's that all about?
Bro. So mouthful mode, honestly, it's like lore-wise, it's like an actual ability that you acquire. Like there's certain things that are too big to handle. So like Kirby finds other ways to like use that power, to the point where like there's characters that are like, oh man, like that's super useful. Oh, Kirby can actually save us with this newfound ability that he has. And it's like, and Kirby's just over here sucking everything, you know?
Oh, man. I mean, to be honest, I'm not too surprised, man. Kirby's been doing the gawk gawk since the 90s, man, so.
Dude, it's crazy because you can even do the mouthful mode on there's a boss, the final boss, where in order to like take away like a chaos sphere that he has on him, it's like a big lump on his back, and you have to ask Kirby like wrap your mouth around it and start like moving moving from side to side to take it out.
Yeah.
It's
well, how
wild.
much you pay for this game?
$60, baby. I put a good 25 hours to complete it. Like it's actually really it's really good. You start off thinking it's only beasts. You end up finding out that there's an alien trying to take over the beasts, and you have to fight this big like out of space alien that wants to destroy everything or control everything. It's like really Kirby. But then you unlock another set of levels, and then you unlock another tournament that's like every single hard boss. Because there's
Soul's dying over here.
No, because I went onto Twitter and I just saw this video of this guy who was like lighting like I don't know, like a firecracker or something with his lighter. Yeah. And he ran away with the firecracker instead of his lighter.
Oh no!
So it's like literally gonna blow up in his hand.
It's gonna blow up his hands apart. Golly!
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you guys in the show.
Thank you. No, but to that point, the game has his first set of levels, which is really go over the bosses. You have a gorilla, you have a lion, you have an armadillo. You know, you have like just like animals, like big animals. but then the end game has these same animals, but it's like the illusory like versions. It's like they're like filled with psychic energy, and they're like more powerful, and they're stronger, and they have more. So you get through those, and you get to the final boss, which is an enhanced version of the final boss, and then that boss has like two faces. So they keep throwing more and more stuff at you, and it really incentivizes evolving abilities, because this is the first time that you can actually like go to a blacksmith or whatever, or a power smith, and evolve the abilities. Like for instance, the damn fire ability. We know Kirby has this fire breathing ability, right? You can evolve that into a magma throwing ability, and you start spouting magma.
What was over your tone there? Why
Hey,
did you
yo.
say, sure. What's going on, man?
And then after that, you can evolve it into a dragon ability. Essentially, you get wings, you get dragon fire, you get it longer range, and it becomes like the ultimate form of that ability. And you get that for every single... Dude, you know how there's a sleeping ability? You can upgrade that into deep sleep. Shut up, macho. You did it on purpose that time. There's an ability called deep sleep, which essentially Kirby pulls out a whole bed in the middle of the battlefield and starts sleeping. It's hilarious. It's the best. But then when you wake up, you get improved power, improved defenses, and double health. It's like OP. It's a really good game, man. I got 100%. I completed. I got every single action figure. There was like 200 action figures. I rolled that gacha machine a lot of times to get those. I completed every boss, and I got the little title screen saying 100%. So that's my sign of approval that I am done with that game. I would definitely replay it. It's super fun. A lot of replay value. It took me about 25 hours to beat. Complete, rather. To beat, it was like 8 hours. 7 hours. Yeah, man, it has a lot. It has a lot going for it. I hope they continue this route of 3D Kirby like this. I think we can like leave 2D Kirby in the past. I think 3D is the way to go. Very much like Mario, like 2D in the past. Let's all go 3D from here on out. But yeah, man, Kirby and Dragon's Dogma. Great week for video games for me. I love those two games, and I'm having a lot of fun. Now, Macho, talk about the cringy teen games.
Yes, the Quarry. So the Quarry, man. There's two cringy teen games. There's the Quarry and then Crisis Core. And I'll get into that.
Oh, that was cringy too.
There's one part, yeah, but it's actually really funny. So, yeah, the past week I've been playing the Quarry and TMNT and a bit of Crisis Core in 14. So I've been kind of bouncing around the beginning of the week and then here to the end of the week here. But the Quarry I finished actually with my fiance Saturday, like literally I think the day of our podcast. And overall, I have to say, I think Until Dawn is a better game. Overall, I think it's a better story, better characters. But regardless of that fact, Until Dawn is a lot of fun. And the Quarry is a lot of fun.
Quarry.
Yeah, it's actually really good. Even though like a lot of the dialogue is, we get like what some of these games are trying to be, right? The campy kind of cringy horror, like teen horror, stuff like that. A little of that magic is lost because of the fact that I didn't know this actually when the game came out, that this game actually set in modern times. They actually have cell phones and everything, so it's a little harder to believe that these teens are as stupid as they are. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just my optimism. I'm like, no, these people can't be that stupid. No, they're actually.
You haven't met Gen Zers.
Yeah, probably. But even to that point, though, like these, oh man, they were like incredibly stupid to the point where we're just like, really? And there's a couple like really weird moments in the game where they just have really bad dialogue. Like even I think like the Until Dawn has better like cringy 80s movies dialogue, and that's set more modern times.
And they're older, right?
What, the characters in the Quarry?
And Until Dawn, right?
I don't remember, but I think so.
They feel more mature, if anything.
Yeah, I think that's a better word. They're more. They feel more mature in what happens and everything. I'm not going to spoil anything either, because in case my fiance listens to the podcast, because we're playing Until Dawn tonight.
Right.
But in regards to the fact, yeah, I think the core is really good. I really like the actual mythical monster that's in the game.
No spoil.
No, I won't spoil. I like that it's in there. I like the different ways we're going about it. Like we got really far in the game without killing anybody, and then all of a
Ooh.
sudden things just start happening, and now
Who did you get killed? Because that's not a spoiler. You can get anyone killed.
yeah. Well, the thing is like, because the thing when you're playing on couch co-op mode, and it's actually a cool thing for people that are wondering about this. The way you play couch co-op mode is that you just actually click on the option that says couch co-op, and then you can shuffle. Before the game actually starts, shuffle different characters for player 1, player 2.
Ooh.
So I literally just kept pressing that shuffling button until I just got to a random spot, and then we ended up switching the controllers back and forth. And one of the characters I had was oh god, what's her name? She's a girl that loves not loves, but she has a crush on Nick in the game.
Abigail?
Yeah, Abby. Yeah, I think it's Kimberly, but it's not. It's Abigail.
Yeah.
So I was playing as Kimberly, and you had the option to shoot a gun, and I was holding it up, and I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna shoot. I don't think this person's, I don't think they're going that way. Then all of a sudden, Abigail puts down the gun, and
Pulls out the strap.
and then the person goes crazy and runs to Abigail, turns into the monster, and rips her head off. I'm just like,
How you go?
and then my fiance looks at me and she's like, "You got her killed, you bastard! You killed Abigail, you bastard!" And I was just so smitten by what just happened, dog, because like her head just gets ripped off. And then she has that cliche horror death scene when someone gets decapitated, their mouth is wide open. So you just see her mouth just completely wide open with like the her neck bone just protruding from the base of her head. And it's really gruesome. Like, oh man, that was awesome.
You sick fuck.
But that was like our first gruesome death of like the entire playthrough. And my fiance, she's the one that actually was controlling Brenda's song, and I was like, you don't kill
Caitlin,
Brenda,
right?
Yeah. I was like, you don't kill Brenda's song, baby. You don't kill Brenda's song. Like you can't do it. And she almost got there, and then I think I inadvertently killed her because she had the option to escape or stay hidden. I was like, you could probably escape. You're really close to the door, and she listened to me. And then I kid you not, the monster just darted over towards her and smashed her against the wall like 3 or 4 times, and just throws her body and her body's limbs. Like she's dead. Like you can tell she's obviously dead. But then my fiance is like, maybe she's still alive.
Copium.
Because she was absolutely like, no, this is not happening. But we made it through like the entire game with almost everybody alive until literally like the last 2 chapters or so. And there's only 1 or 2 times where I was like, all right, that's a really stupid death. Like it gave me one option or the other, and it even like, foreshadowed that, something crazy is about to happen in the next scene. And it just did. It was just really weird. It was kind of one of those like default deaths, it felt like. Yeah. So, but other than that, like one death in our entire playthrough, we were pretty. I was pretty satisfied by the end of it. But yeah. And the fact that like really weird technical hiccups, the water physics in this game is disgusting.
Yeah, dude, I'm watching a playthrough of super what do you call it? Jesse Cox and Scary Game Squad, and I saw the scene where they're like splashing water to each other. I'm like, dude, what is that like? Is that pudding? What's going on?
Dude, it's disgusting. It looks really weird when they're splashing and everything. I'm just like, that's not water.
Don't lie to me.
You have great character models. You have horrible water physics. They're super massive.
Damn.
I would say that right now. But yeah, other than that, I think like after you actually beat the game, you get option for 2 modes, which is movie mode essentially, which is you can actually watch like a movie of the quarry, which is actually I think really cool because a lot of people want to opt for that too. And they have 2 different ways you can watch movie mode, which is all deaths or everybody lives. So eventually me and my fiance are definitely going to sit down, pop some popcorn, and just check out, the all deaths one. See, like I think that all deaths actually paints it as where like it gives everybody the most gruesome death possible in the game. So I want to see what that's all about. I definitely think Abigail got the most gruesome death in our playthrough, but I want to see. And real quick, shout out to Mahmood. Thanks, man. He's actually in the chat right now.
Hey, man, appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're just talking about the games that we've been playing. And yeah, so that was a Corey, man. I'm excited to replay Until Dawn with her because I still think that that's a better game. But the Corey's still fun. If you really want my honest opinion about it, I don't think it's worth $70. I think you guys can definitely wait for a sale on this one. But regardless, it's a game I play with my fiance, so that's worth all the money in the world in my opinion. So it's definitely worth playing with her. Definitely worth playing with somebody for sure. I think it's actually going to have online co-op eventually.
I think it already does, though.
No, I know it got delayed because of the Ukraine and Russia stuff.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure if it's implemented now or if it's coming in a much later patch, but yeah, I think it is coming. So in case anybody's wondering for that.
And Macho, to that point of you mentioning couch co-op, I'm also watching. Have you also seen RDC World, the YouTube channel?
No.
There's like 7 of them, and they're all playing different characters, like couch co-op, and they did that shuffling where they assign like one of them has like 2 characters because there's like more than 7 characters. But it's really cool how up to 8 people can play this game on a couch. That's insane.
Yeah, because all the different characters you're playing as is literally just controller swapping, and that's why I was like, all right, how are they actually going to do this? And it's really that simple, just controller swapping. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I think it'd be a good time to get people in, and it's not short enough to like everybody plays on one playthrough sort of thing, but it's still a lot of fun regardless. Overall, I think it's a really fun game, and I think just like the mythological aspect of it, the actual storyline is actually pretty cool. Some characters are great. Overall with playing it. Overall,
Who's your favorite character? And don't say Brenda Song because of bias.
Oh, it's absolutely Brenda Song. Absolutely.
God dang it.
No,
Kaylin?
No, it would. My favorite character would have to be. I keep forgetting their names, man.
Okay, so there's Jacob, there's Nick, there's Abby, there's Ryan. Just describe
cool.
Ryan is like has glue in his mouth, like when he talks.
Yeah, he's pretty bland.
Yeah,
but not bland. I guess the word is more like he's really stiff.
He's like an introvert.
Yeah, he's really stiff. I think honestly my favorite character, actually my favorite character is a spoiler, so I'm not even gonna say that.
Oh wait.
Yeah,
is it?
It's the blonde girl.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, it's the blonde girl. Again, I'm not gonna spoil it for people that haven't played it yet and want to. But yeah, it's my favorite character ends up being it's actually a spoiler in itself, so I won't say.
Yeah, my favorite one, I'm gonna say only one thing this person has, no one's gonna guess it. Has an eye patch. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. All right, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that person was really cool too.
I really like that person.
Yeah. So, but yes, the Corey was great. TMNT finished that up, and I'm currently getting a platinum trophy in that. I'm like one more trophy away from doing it. It's really just leveling up all the characters. The game's a lot of fun. It's I don't think it's as good as River City Girls, but it's still a ton of fun. It's like
is that a hot take?
No, because like for me it's like what's better, Ori, Will of the Wisp, or Hollow Knight. I like Hollow Knight a lot more, but I can see Ori, Will of the Wisp being like a really close like favorite.
Like yeah.
It's the same thing with TMNT and River City Girls. Like I love River City Girls so much that the music beats out TMNT a little bit, and just the replayability part of it. There's a lot more combos involved with River City Girls. TMNT is a lot more simple, but it's really fun to just jump in, get like involved with the whole TMNT universe. It's a really good callback to all the other games too. Like it's a really fun game, and the price is right, man. There's a lot of stuff to do here, and you won't get bored. That's for sure.
Nice.
And then lastly, fellas,
oh boy,
I got the itch. Itch after seeing all the Final Fantasy hype, all the Crisis Core hype.
Did you get ointment?
A little bit, yeah. I got some extra lotion.
Oh god.
He's like, ugh.
Oh great heavens! Oh great heavens!
But I got back on the PSP, man, and I'm starting to play Crisis Core again. I'm getting through all the nostalgia, fellas. First of all, I'll say, I really wish Sony would make another handheld. Like 100%.
Dude, Yeah, welcome to PlayStation community. We all want it.
Well, the thing is, I was like, I don't need.
like,
Well, things I don't need them to divert their attention to a handheld. Like they don't need to do that. No, man, the PSP is like that was revolutionary, and then the PS Vita with the OLED and everything make it a lot better to navigate the store and everything.
ahead of its time.
Yeah, for real. It was a wave, man. And the only thing that was really making me wish that they would actually work on a PSP, PSV successor is the fact that PSP is so goddamn small, man.
Yeah, that's why it's really difficult for me to get back to it.
Yeah, I had to keep adjusting my thumb every time because the thumbstick is just so weirdly positioned and so small.
We're big, man.
Yeah, that's it. Just big hands.
Yo.
But in any case, the game is a lot of fun. It's no wonder why this game is just like so cemented in like my favorite video games of all time, so to speak. And even I haven't played since high school, or so I believe, and it's still like has its wraps around me in terms of just the story and the characters, how endearing everything is. When Zack and Aerith meet for the first time is a really special scene, and to kind of see a little glimpse of that in the reunion trailer is making me really nostalgic. And just again, it's another reason why I love these characters so much, why I love Zack, and just the gameplay in general. It's just a ton of fun. I will say, especially for Soul, because he expressed some form of interest after the reunion trailer. Like, it definitely has like its kinks when it comes to like the way it's played, because it's a lot of the side content is mission based. So you're gonna look at the mission, Soul, and you're gonna be like, oh god, no, I'm not doing anything from here. Especially since it's pretty much like I'll jump into a map, beat the enemy, and then jump back out. So it's pretty bare bones, but regardless of the fact, the story is really solid. It follows Zack Fair, and he's basically trying to figure out this whole mystery of the first soldier that disappeared, his name is Genesis, and how he's tied to this Project G that's involved with Shinra, and how Angio, his mentor, is involved. I would say one thing that Walt really appreciate from this game, though, is the fact that, God, this ninja's whipping my ass. Is the fact that Sephiroth is normal, man. You see a different side of Sephiroth that's not conniving, that's not
plotting always.
Yeah, he's not the super evil villain plotting. Like he's actually like more of a tragic character in this sense, because he's so fond of Angio and Genesis, who end up going missing early on in the game, that he's really confused on why like his friends essentially abandoned him and are not like filling him in on what's going on.
Damn.
So he's actually a pretty tragic character, and it's actually really cool to see that from Zack's perspective too, because everyone sees Sephiroth as like this glory hero of the days of Shinra. Like he's absolutely like the man, and he's the one to look up to. And Zack's a little frustrated with Sephiroth because he's like, you don't always have to be the hero, but it's the thing with Sephiroth, he's not choosing to be. He's just abnormally strong and get things done as quickly as anyone, or better than anyone else.
Don't hate me because I'm winning.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like, don't hate the player, hate the game, Zach. Like it's pretty much like kind of that energy, but like it's true, and that's
I'm
what
hot
makes
because I'm flat.
But that's what makes Sephiroth like such like a tragic character in Crisis Core, especially when he learns like of his backgrounds and everything that we all know from the original 7. You're just like, oh man, like you're just a victim of what's the product. You're a victim of the situation itself. So it's really good stuff, and I also love just the late 2000s translations here that's going on, because I found a scene in the game where some girls are fangirling over Sephiroth, Genesis, and Angio, and just like being like, oh, they're so handsome, blah blah blah. And like this is like the epitome of the Sephiroth and even the Final Fantasy fandom, the girl fandom, when they're talking about any Final Fantasy, dude. Because I found one girl, and I kid you not, this is her exact quote for quote what she said. She said, and her name's actually Sephiroth fan. So she has something she said before, but like the end like quote, she says, "Just imagining him stripped to the waist makes me dizzy." And I'm just like, oh my god, they're absolutely just objectifying these men here. What's going on? But it's. By
the way, just want to mic check real quick. Stole, you there?
Yeah, I'm just listening.
Okay.
I know he's like not responding. Oh, I think he's just really intent.
Oh yeah. Of course.
Hey, don't take that tone with me. Hey. But in any case, yeah. So just getting like those like really funny quotes from this like late 2000s era of Square is just hilarious. I love how they fit that in. Basically, like the entire Sephiroth fandom always thirsting over the guy, like always. They had to include that line there. I thought it was hilarious. But overall, it's an amazing game. I'm about like 5-6 hours into it right now, so
Okay.
I still have about another 10ish hours or so to go.
Nice.
Well, overall, it's a lot of fun. I'm really interested to see how they're going to change up the gameplay in certain scenes, because a lot of the scenes in Crisis Core are you have to read, so it's just basically subtitles. So I'm wondering how they're going to change it up in the remake, so to speak, especially when it comes to the gameplay too.
Can't wait to play it on my OLED, man. It's gonna look beautiful.
Yeah. The thing is too with the remaster slash remake, they're actually redoing a lot of the cinematics for the summons. So I noticed that in the trailer when I was playing the game. I'm like, wow, they actually changed the intro sequence. I think it was for Bahamut or Ifrit, but regardless, they're changing them all. So I'm wondering if they're making it more like less time consuming, because the one thing about Crisis Core is the gameplay at least is that you have this thing called DMW, which is basically your slot machine that affects the battles every now and then. And it could be from everything from you not taking any physical damage to you not taking any magic damage to being invincible. So there's quite a bit that the DMW does. But one of the things that it does really frequently is that it stops battle, and it has like this cinematic of Zack either being healed or doing some dramatic action scene, or even the summon being summoned and doing its thing. So I wonder if they're going to cut those down or if they're going to make it less frequent, because it happens quite a lot in battle. I can see people being frustrated with that for sure. But yeah, other than that, it's I'm really interested to see like all the differences in the remaster slash remake, and replaying it it just feels really good to play. Like it's kind of reassuring to be like, oh yeah, this game is still really good even like 14 years later, so give or take. So. But yeah.
Dude, shout out to old games. We're just playing like this is like why the whole notion of man, there's no games this year. No. Go to the past. There's a lot of great games buried, beneath the earth that people don't talk about, and maybe you never played. So
For real, man.
Well,
Yeah.
you gotta go to other years to find those games.
yes,
So, yeah, so I'm saying that point is still technically true, but
right. But there's games.
There's definitely a lot. There's definitely a lot.
Because to your point, so there was like a month or 2 months where all you were playing was just like games from the past, like exclusively. And I think that's something beautiful, that we can just revisit games that we never played, because no one in this world, I think, has the capacity of playing every single game that's out. That doesn't exist. No one here is. If I was a vampire, that would be my bucket list, to play every single game. No, I would go crazy. Never mind. Continue, much.
Yeah, no, but to your point, yeah, exactly. Like, and again, to Soul's point too, if like I have the privilege of still having my PSP, so I'm able to go back to it and just.
But you can
enjoy
emulate
things.
that. People can emulate that. It's not
Yeah,
pretend like people don't got
you're
PCs.
not wrong. You're not wrong, because even my friend that has a Steam Deck, he was saying like, oh yeah, I just downloaded an emulator. I'm playing it right now.
There you go. There's a way.
Yeah. So in any case, yeah, there's always a way to play these games, even if you don't have the system. But there's really nothing like actually playing it on the system, even if
On the
it's
console.
yeah.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, it's a whole different vibe. There's the UMD going crazy in the background, right? Like the whole disc, the whole disc like going key and all that kind of stuff.
How's it go?
Yeah, stop it. It was Waltz.
Geeky.
Because like my fiance, we're laying in bed, I'm playing, and she's like, "What's that noise?" I'm just like, "It's just the UMD disc spinning inside the PSP."
It goes key.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, regardless, it's a ton of fun. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Definitely gonna finish it for sure, even if it's just a revisit. Yeah, overall, it's a great game. I can't wait for the remaster to come out for people to play it, just so that that people can know about Zack Fair and know his story a little more personal than just the original game.
Oh yeah.
I see a lot of people saying too that like they're No, 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 I'm not gonna say that. I'm just gonna say that if you're getting Crisis Core on your console choice, you also have the original to play there as well, which ties in beautifully with the actual game itself. So I highly
That's true.
recommend it. I highly
Yeah,
recommend it.
unless you only have a Switch, you can only play the original, and you cannot look forward to the remake.
Not only the Switch, but yeah, regardless.
Well, you're right. You're right.
But
You're right.
regardless, yeah, because I was one of those people that played Crisis Core first. That was my introduction to the entire series, and then I played 7. And it was just it put things in a much better perspective than if I probably played it just the original by itself. Like
Right.
it made me very humble to like know like who Zack and Aerith were and where they were coming from, and to sort of have those backgrounds for them before going to the actual original game. And yeah, overall, it just made the experience a lot more richer. So
Then, are you saying that before people play Kingdom Hearts 4, they should play the others?
yes.
Oh,
Absolutely.
damn.
Absolutely.
Golly.
Absolutely.
That's
Listen,
tough.
if you want to get into Kingdom Hearts, you know what you're signing up for. That's all I gotta say.
All right.
That's all I gotta say. But yeah, other than that, yeah, that's all I've been playing. A little bit of 14 too, but I have more on that probably like next week when I get a little more into it. But
Right.
All right,
Nice, man.
sounds good. All right, so let's jump into some of these topics, man. We can start off with Ghost of Tsushima. So over the past week, we had some people investigate. I don't know why people like do they just like wait around on LinkedIn all day to spot these things? It's so weird.
Yeah.
But we found people spotted on a recent job listing that Sucker Punch has been hiring, looking for I think like combat designers and people for open world design as well. But yeah, a lot of people are basically saying that this is definitely pointing to Ghost of Tsushima too. There's more things specifically that ties into or is making people think that it's Ghost of Tsushima, because I think specifically it said something along the lines of open world stealth. And of course, yeah, that closely resembles Ghost. So yeah, I mean, I feel like this was pretty much inevitable with how successful that first game was. So I wanted to ask you guys, what are you guys hoping to see from a Tsushima sequel? Is there anything specifically that you want improved upon, or that wasn't in the first game that you would like to see in the second game? What are you guys thinking?
Yes, less of that Ubisoft stench that we had discussed like a while ago. I don't like the fact that there's a bit too much to do side content wise. I think that they could have cut down a lot of the fluff. This was my own fault, but I haven't finished Tsushima because I completed 100% the first island, and that burned me out. So I think that for a sequel, they should really just be more focused on its strengths, which is very much the combat and the story and the stealth and all that. And if you're gonna do side content, by all means, don't make it too absurdly you know uh, filled to the brim with just collectibles and stuff like that. I don't know. I feel like that was my biggest takeaway from playing the game. That there was just a bit too much, and there were moments where. So I think you mentioned it was that sometimes it does have that like Ubisoft stench of open worldness. But yeah, man, that'd be my thing. What about you, Macho?
uh, yeah, I mean, I could use less haikus.
Yeah, exactly. See what I mean?
I can use less haikus in that game. I don't know, man, because again, I don't want to like. It's weird to say, but I don't like want to impose like my gamer impatience over their vision and what they want to do, especially since I know that game's really respected in Japanese culture and stuff like that, or Japanese media.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't want to be like as an American and be like, yeah, I want less of this stuff because it was boring. Like it's up to them what they want to do, and then I think if depending on what they want to go with. But overall, I think if I were to actually like have some wants towards it, I would like that combat to be extended a little bit more. I I don't know. I think the first game was really good, but maybe if they add like a couple more stuff to it, especially for the stealth sections. I ended up doing more sword fights than anything because it was just more effective for me. I didn't really feel inclined to do a lot of the stealth stuff in that game. But maybe they could expand on that a little more since I guess maybe depending on what they do for that ending, right?
Yeah.
Depending on what they do for ending, I'm not really sure. But if they are gonna have Jin go more of the ghost route rather than the samurai route, and instead of being conflicted, like this is like his actual choice, then yeah, we need to absolutely up the stealth mechanics or the stealth gameplay in that game for sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I don't know. It's tricky because like I actually did use a fair bit of the stealth because that's just typically how I play like a lot of games. Like I typically like to go, if I'm given the option to, I will, same thing with like Dishonored, even though that's a far superior stealth game. But like in that game, like I'm more inclined or just stealth. If you give me the option, I will go the stealthy way. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But like even with this game, it felt like with its stealth, kind of like similar to Spider-Man, where it's just like so bare bones and just like generic, where it has like, all the usual things, right? Where it has the things where you can throw a rock or I think like a chime, to make a sound to attract someone over there. It has the classic, walking through tall grass, and stabbing them and things like that. Um, I don't know, like it's weird because like yeah, it was serviceable, but like at the same time it's just like it has like you could literally go down a list and check mark like all the things that are like all in all other action adventure games and be like, yep, it has that, it has that, it has that. So like I don't know. It's one of those things where like I don't know what I want with their stealth in the next game. But like I just like I'm not even asking it for it to be like Hitman or levels of that, but like I just want it to feel like impactful stealth, like more player agency, more creativity, I guess is what I'm asking for. Like
Yeah.
I don't expect it to be like Dishonored 2, but like man, I don't want it to be mindless where it's just like, okay, I'm just going through the motions with the stealth again. Like I want it to like every encounter, I want it to be like almost like a puzzle, like ooh, like how am I gonna figure my way out of this,
Yeah.
um I don't know, like I just feel like those options weren't really like there in the first game, so if they could really expand upon that in the next one, I think would be pretty cool.
I think that a game, that's Japanese setting, a certain period in Japanese history, because I think that for stealth, you work a lot with architecture, you work a lot with level design, and I think that a way that they can flesh it out, because I don't think there's any levels in Ghost of Tsushima where it's like a massive indoor like palace essentially. uh I think Sekiro did that well, where for you to infiltrate like the manor or the palace that you have to climb to find your master, your lord, there's like hidden doors, there's hidden like rooms. You can stealth kill a lot of the guards that are around the palace. I think that Tsushima should very much have more indoor areas. Go Unity on it. How Unity had massive palaces where you had to stealth your way through. I think Tsushima could do that to amplify more of the stealth. Because I think stealth outside, that's all fine and dandy, but there's only so much you can do when stealthing outside. There's only so much grass you can blend into. Like, that gets a bit monotonous after a while. I feel like indoors you can play around with, like Among Us, go into a hatchet, and then go through this tunnel system onto the other side of the palace. I don't know. I think you can play a lot with that. More traps, more, I don't know, disguises maybe. To your point, so you said Hitman, but maybe you don't have to put on someone else's uniform. Maybe you just find a guard kimono that symbols like the family that the guards are protecting, and you have to infiltrate and kill the lord there, and then you have to get out. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of things that they could do
See,
to
like
amplify the stealth.
Hitman, I shouldn't have brought that up because like I feel like the disguise. It works for Hitman because like that game is inherently just goofy. I mean, you're throwing coconuts and bananas and soda cans at people's heads.
But I'm not saying
Busting right
everything
off.
has to be like a disguise. Like certain
Sure.
parts can involve some kind of disguise, but not necessarily that's the premise of it. Like essentially, you're still killing guards. You know,
I just don't think that would fit in this game because this is super hardcore realistic feudal Japan game. So like to see like in order for that to work, like it has to be like Hitman where it like a snap of a finger you can bam like switch into another outfit, and like I don't know, that's sort of like goofiness.
Okay.
I don't think works for Tsushima.
I see what you mean.
But
I think it's more just lending itself to like you said before, different stealth options. So instead of your only stealth option being, okay, there's different ways to sneak around into the camp, right? There's now different tools to use to even manipulate enemies. Because we had a couple of stuff like that in Ghost of Tsushima with the bell chime and stuff like that. But there's very few and far between where I actually use that kind of stuff, because a lot of the enemy camps would be so crowded, and I didn't really find like ways to actually use a lot of the stealth mechanics effectively.
Yeah.
So I think it's more of just smart stealth maps in this open world area, which is probably why they're looking for more stealth open world, like I guess not enthusiasts but developers, really, to see how they can mess around with their different ideas that can bounce off of each other.
Yeah.
I hope. Really, aside from that, I mean, you guys already touched on the open world stuff.
A multiplayer mode? I like a dedicated multiplayer, like Legends mode.
That's gonna happen, yeah, for sure. That's gonna
Yeah.
happen. I see that for sure.
There was something I was gonna say, I forgot. But yeah, I mean, also, I totally agree with the Ubisoft stuff. Like, because that was my major problem with like Infamous Second Son, was just like how like sure, it was fun, and like the reason why I 100% in that game, first of all, because it was super easy to do it, but also just like the traversal to go from point A to point B made that stuff really, really fun. But like that game was super formulaic and checklisty, and Tsushima, like the open world activities in that game are a little bit more interesting. Like I like the bamboo strikes. I thought the haikus were pretty interesting within themselves, but then again, it's like you have, okay, there's the classic bandit camps, okay, there's the towers, right? I thought the shrines were cool because they were like little, like they felt like the classic Assassin's Creed 2 sort of like tombs a little bit, not too much, but a little bit, in the sense that like, hey, there's a little bit more involvement, parkour, in this, to actually
I
reach
love
the
those
shrine
actually.
at the end.
Those are really fun.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. There has to be a middle ground there, because like I don't want it to be as checklisty or formulaic, because like it does get monotonous where there's like, okay, there's 15 of the bamboo strikes, even though I like doing them, but there's 15 of them. You go out and do all of them. So I don't know how you find the middle ground there.
I think you make it. You don't make it a checklist. You make it a mini game in a main mission. For instance, if you're doing, like, whenever you have a main mission, put a bamboo thing next to it. If you're ready, you'll do it there. If you're not, then you can leave it for later. I don't know. If I feel like a middle ground is the way that it's accessed, if that makes any sense. So if there's a collectible that you can only get in, I don't know, by praying to a certain like shrine, then make sure that every main mission has 2 shrines like that, and you can just, and they're like on the way there. I don't know. There's ways of doing it. It's very much comes down to the way that it's implemented on your way through the main mission, if that makes any sense. Like, don't make it something off to the side unless that area is, I'm compelled to explore it. Like Red Dead Redemption didn't necessarily have like a necessity for you to find collectibles, but there was fun little Easter eggs that you can only access through exploration, and they were worth it. But you didn't feel like, oh, there's a checklist. It felt seamless in the world, if that makes any sense. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Veremos, amigo, veremos. Ay, Luli.
We will.
Yeah, I
see,
mean the
though.
one. Hold on, real quick. Sorry, my mic was off. I didn't realize it was off.
Damn.
But no, I want to what you're saying. Well, about the side content being like it feels like an event and stuff like that. The one piece of side content that actually did that continuously in the first game was those mythical duels that you're
Oh, dude,
having.
same.
Like
Oh yeah.
those were incredible. Like those were events, and I don't know if that's going to continue into the second game. I mean, it probably can because it was like more region based and culture based and stuff like that. So they probably can. But I will love more of those. Like those that was actually my favorite part of the entire game. Just going to any sort of random area that was obviously closed off to the public, or so to speak, and you just are enveloped in like this beautiful waterfall or these twilight caves that were just sparkling, and you have an opponent at the end of the whole dungeon being like, "I've been waiting for you. Why are you here?" Like all that kind of like I would love more of that stuff, man. Like that was the stuff that I was like really like that got my juices flowing. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
So,
yo. By
yeah,
the way,
good stuff.
question for you both, because it's like a design question. Do you? So there's two types of approaches that I'm going to explain. Do you prefer the Horizon Forbidden West approach, where it's you find these underwater systems and you see that there's something that you need to do, but then it tells you you don't have the right equipment for this, and it tells you, okay, so later on I'm going to be able to access this? Or do you prefer the I got this equipment, oh, new areas opened up, now I can use this? Do you prefer the I look, there's something you can use here, but you don't have it, or the you have this item, there's
Well,
new
you're
areas
bothing
you
a
can
lot, by the
explore?
way. You got a lot of static going on.
Really? Oh my
Yeah.
god. Give me a sec. Did y'all hear what I said though?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I will I'll take a like a scoop of both, really,
Okay.
because you get like all around kind of gameplay aspects of it. Because like if you don't get that kind of stuff, then you're stuck with Elden Ring, where you're missing out a lot of stuff, and you just don't know that it's even there. You could be fascinated with
to
the fact
that
that it's
point,
not there, and you go find it.
but to that
yeah.
point, like the game telling you, for instance, you found a grapple hook, and the game literally tells you, oh, there's new areas to explore. You should check it out. And there's like a question mark down the map. Like it doesn't like explicitly tell you what it is, but it tells you can go there, and it just so happens that it's something you can explore with your grappling hook.
Yeah, that's the whole Metroidvania aspect of it, which I loved. You know, especially with Horizon Forbidden West, where like it said before, like you can't access, you need like a certain tool to get to this area. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
dope. I'll come back to it then. And some people just didn't like that. The people were like, no, it's open world. I should be able to explore everything. I'm like, okay, but you know, I mean, the entire point of it's open world is it's for you to unlock it, not to just. I don't know. I guess different open world philosophies, but case in point, I'll take a scoop of both of them. Give me stuff to discover, but also if there's like certain checkpoints as well that I get from unlocking stuff, then I'll take that too.
Okay.
And like I hope, because I feel like you would think Sucker Punch is cognizant to like these complaints, just like Insomniac is with the complaints about Spider-Man and their open world, and you know, the backpacks and the pigeons and things like that. You would hope that they've been hearing that and that they wouldn't continue that in the next game. Same thing with Sucker Punch. I really feel like Horizon, like, yeah, it has definitely like a bit of both of like the Ubisoft stuff, and like I think the real like gold standard is how Horizon handles its the tall necks, for instance. Like you like each tall neck feels different from the last in the way that you access them, or you know, get to the top. And that's genuinely like interesting. You know, it doesn't
Yeah.
feel the same from one to the other. And I hope that like, I don't know, like if you are going to tread down this Ubisoft sort of path with your open world activities, that like you differentiate them just enough to make them, you know, that you don't approach them the same way like the last five or something like that.
Right.
You know, that's sort of the big issue with like all these kinds of things. So
Like the cauldrons. Like the cauldrons, I feel like the what's so different is the end boss, but the general level feels pretty much the same. I don't know.
How many have you played so far?
Oh,
yeah, that's what I was. That's what I was like. I don't know.
I mean, I haven't played many of these. I'm talking more on like Zero Dawn. But if they're like very different here, then
Okay, now you're talking about
thank
Zero
God.
Dawn. Okay, we're talking about Forbidden West, but okay.
Shut the hell up. Play your TMNT.
But yeah, man. I don't know. I struggle with that question because it's like I won't know until they show me. I feel like, but
Yeah.
but at the very least, yeah, I definitely need to see some improvements to the stealth. I love the combat in the first game. I also love the tails, which were, I think those were considered side quests.
Yeah, they
Um,
were.
Yeah, but like with Ishikawa and Masako, like those tales were really really cool.
I love
Hope they
those.
continue those. Um, yeah, but besides that, I don't know. Again, it's one of those things where I won't know until they show me. So
Definitely no
regardless,
NFTs.
yeah, regardless, it was a solid foundation. Um, so I'm excited to see what they do in the sequel for sure.
Does this mean that we're
Um,
never getting an Infamous game ever?
Hey, man, never
there's
say
been
never.
rumblings, man. There's been rumblings, both Sly and Infamous. I totally don't expect Sucker Punch. I think Sucker Punch is solely focused on Ghost for the foreseeable future. Um, and also keep in mind, like, they're one of the smaller teams in PlayStation Studios, so, like, I definitely don't think they're going to be like a Gorilla or a Naughty Dog or a Santa Monica or Insomniac where they're going to be working on multiple projects.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of rumors that both Infamous and Sly are being worked on by other studios that aren't Sucker Punch. So, I'll try. I wouldn't say never. So
Good.
hold out
Good.
hope, man. Hold out hope.
So what I like to hear. So I like to hear.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Which is funny because like I've like I mean, you guys know me, like I've been championing like for another Sly for a really long time, but like I've just been coming around the idea about an Infamous. Like recently I've been like, you know what? Fuck yeah, I would be down for another Infamous.
Hell
Man.
yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
I know you're just absolutely tingling with excitement when you saw that lightning bolt in the Spider-Man 2 trailer.
Oh my god, bro.
We all were.
I literally, I'm not gonna lie, I literally jumped up out of my seat, like
like how I did with Crisis Core, my reaction.
Yeah, like, and it's funny because like I was watching, I remember watching Kind of Funny.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, Greg yelled out Infamous. He even grabbed his PS3 copy of Infamous and he was like, wait.
And then the disappointment.
Yeah.
But it was Spider-Man. I mean, that's still pretty hype.
No, it was a good trailer. Yeah, it was a good trailer.
Yeah.
So I'm still holding out hope, man. But yeah, man, that's Ghost of Tsushima. Their sequel. Let us move on to From before we end with Final Fantasy 16.
It sounds like you just spoke gibberish. Let's move to From. Golly.
Yeah. So essentially,
we also had a Plague's Tale if you want to do that one too.
I mean, you guys will need to take the reins on that because I'm on media blackout with that game. Like, I don't need to see anything else. So if you guys have anything you want to say about it, feel free to.
Gotcha. I mean, well, the biggest thing from that was that it got a release date. The thing is, I was kind of hoping you guys would take the reins on that one because you guys are more excited than I am. I mean, I don't really plan on playing the game, so I guess, well, if you want to.
Why not?
It's the rats thing, dog. It's
What?
the rats thing. It's creepy and grimy and gross, and you hear the pitter patters of the little feetsies of these rats. I'm good, man. I'm good.
It's amazing.
No, it's not. It's like if you told me, hey Hector, why don't you just play this snake game? Like it's all you people getting swarmed by snakes in the game. Absolutely fucking not. I would not touch out a 10-foot pole, man.
I agree. I agree with snakes. Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, hearing the slithering and then the like, I'm good, man. I'm good.
That sounds amazing. Here's the thing, man. Like, not in real life. In real life, hell no. Get me away from those. But in video games, dude, make me experience shit that I'm never gonna do in life. Like, make me feel like I'm being surrounded by roaches and they're like crawling on my face. Like, that'd be insane. That'd be crazy.
Man, you love Fear Factor, don't you? You love that show when you're a kid.
No, the show sucks ass, but I think that the game experiences are fucking amazing when they do horror like that. But yeah, I mean, for the game, I'm also avoiding footage on it. But I saw the cinematic and I saw like the first trailer they did, like the compilation trailer. Game looks beautiful. I'm glad that it's a few years in the future, I think. Yeah, man, I'm excited.
Are you guys getting that collector's edition that's going with the game? I think it comes like a statue, stuff like that.
Depending on how the economy looks from here and there.
I feel that, man.
But yeah, man, like, oh fuck. No. Oh my god. Yeah. So see, that's fucking cool, man. We're like I was just doing like a random side quest with this character, like escorting her. So like I was following this track with her, and like literally just stumbled upon a Thunderjaw just like randomly out of nowhere.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I love
Greatness.
that. But yeah, oh god, what was I gonna say? Like I was literally like sold on that game like literally the first trailer. So like yeah, it's one of those things where like I forgot what, probably like Spider-Man, where it just got to a point where like we kept seeing trailers for it, and I'm like, all right, like like I was sold on this like 2 years ago. Like I don't need to see anything else from it. So I'm
Yeah.
basically at the same point with this game. Like I'm
I,
playing it day one. I'm good.
I don't know if this makes sense, but there's games, and this one falls into that, where I play it, and I have this sensation in me where it says the sequel can only be better. Like the sequel can only improve. I play sometimes games that feel like that, and I feel like a Plague Tale didn't feel like dated or didn't feel like little like just a little bit of ambition in there. It felt like the game had more to offer in a sequel, and I feel like it was really obvious to the point where I didn't even need a trailer. Just with the cover of Amicia looking older with Hugo on the side, I'm like, oh no, I'm buying that. Like I don't even need to look at a trailer. Like I'm buying that. Like I love the story. I love the characters. I love the environments. And it's one of those games where there's nothing like it. There's no like swarm, like bug system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I noticed why the static is happening. I'm playing Fall Guys. Whenever it loads, it's statics. Like there's a static.
Oh, stop playing Fall Guys, you punk.
Nah, it's so fun. But yeah, man.
But yeah, man. So that is Plague Tale. Very excited for that. So yeah, let's go on to From Software. They came out a few days, basically with kind of like a tweet saying that they are hiring for several projects. And we got a little bit more information on this, so bear with me. So this was actually with a sit-down interview with Miyazaki, of course, at 4gamer.net. And sort of the major bullet points from this is that there is a unannounced project that From is working on currently that is in the final stages of development.
Ooh, baby.
Which is, yeah, pretty crazy.
Ooh.
Let's see. And then aside from that, Miyazaki intends to continue to focus on directing games and is already working on his next game. So at this point, I wanted to get your guys' opinion on this. Do you think, is it? Because I don't know if it's possible. Like, so this next project that is currently in the final stages of development, do you think he also directed that one, or is it a sort of like Dark Souls 2 Bloodborne situation where he kind of like skipped Dark Souls 2 and directed Bloodborne? So like what I'm saying is like, did someone else direct this current project that's in the final stages of development while he's directing their next big project? How do you guys feel about this?
I have
Or is he directing Elden Ring, this project that's in the final stages of development, and their next project? Is he directing all three?
I'm gonna put on the tinfoil hat right now.
Oh boy.
There's someone else directing the project that is coming out, but it's Bloodborne Remastered.
Oh man. Oh man.
That's and Walt, you sound like you're in a fucking tank right now. Like you just went to the aquarium, you jump into the. You sound like you just jumped to a water tank with a shark, and
I literally changed mics, and I'm like washing my hands.
Oh God. Okay. All right. Well, since Wall's doing that, yeah, I think it's a Bloodborne remaster because it's to me that makes sense for the fact that if Miyazaki was directing Elden Ring and this other new project they're doing that's not in the final works, right? That's still being worked on. To me, it will make sense if he would be like the producer of this said project that's in his final works, and someone else a director, and it could be something new. But my inklings tell me that it's a Bloodborne remaster that someone's taking over. So
I hope so, man.
that'll be my clue on it. But and that's coming from a little bit of knowing a little bit of the development background for Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 14, right? Where Yoshida is the director and producer of 14, but he's the producer of 16, which is why he's able to get somewhat stuff done. He was saying before how like he's still able to work on 14 as much as he is able to, even though he's working on 16 because of scheduling and basically what the producer does is make sure everyone else is following a schedule and still keeping the vision of what they had in mind. And that makes sense for Miyazaki, where he has a vision, right? He could help with this remaster and still work on whatever he's working on that's not Elden Ring, but the new project or whatever. So that's my take on it. But I don't know. So what do you think?
Um, like I know the man is Miyazaki. You know, I know he's a god, but like, good lord, like I just don't know like how for him to be able to direct Elden Ring, this current project that is in its final stages of development, and then already directing, working on the next big thing. Like, I don't know how that's possible, man. Like, I just don't know. So, Macho, your point about it being a Bloodborne remaster makes. I know we've been beating, or everyone's been beating this drum since 2015, but like,
Yep.
it just makes the most sense to me that would be something that they're working in collaboration with, a Blue Point or something. Um,
Yeah,
because like again, like and I know From works really really fast, but like to have a project like already like almost being in development in parallel with Elden Ring and have that like already be close to being done is just like, I don't know, like just it being a remaster makes the most sense to me is what I guess I'm trying to say, because I would be absolutely floored if they were working on, like a new IP in parallel with Elden Ring, and that to be coming out within like next year or something like that. That would blow my mind. Like how is their workflow just like, are they crunching their devs like that hard? But like, how is their workflow just like it's almost like Insomniac, like, you know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Like they are like the Insomniac of Japan. Like their workflow just far eclipses like other studios. Like it's insane, man. Like even going back to like Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2 and Bloodborne, and then Dark Souls 3 coming out the next year, right? And then like Deracine was in between that and Sekiro. Like, I don't know, like their workflow is pretty damn fast.
Yeah, 100%. It kind of reminded me a little bit of the Final 7 remake stuff too, where they said that part two was coming out at the end of next year, beginning of 2024, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're working on part three." Like, what? Really? Like that's pretty
Yeah.
quick, man.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
again, it speaks to kind of like their dedication, like their overall work ethic. You could definitely see that in a lot of Japanese games, man. So it doesn't surprise me that it's the same with From Software. They're pretty much like a darling of the industry worldwide now at this point. So it only really serves Bandai Namco to give them all the resources they need to pump out games as fast as they want to, while giving it the attention they deserve. So we'll see what happens though. They really need to take advantage more of that Bloodborne IP though. It can't just be relegated just to the original game and a comic book. Like they really need to like go forth on that. Like PlayStation
Yeah.
and Bandai and From need to really hype on that.
It does Bandai have anything to do with Bloodborne? I thought it was just Sony.
And it's probably just Sony then. Yeah, I think you're right. Right? It's just Sony Japan, or what was Sony
Yeah,
Japan and PlayStation. Yeah. So in
yeah.
any case, yeah. Either way, something needs to be done, man. We need that anime. We need more than just a graphic novel and comic books, man.
God, I go to sleep at night thinking about a Bloodborne,
Yes, sir.
Castlevania style anime, dude.
Yes, sir.
Um,
Yes, sir.
but yeah, man. Really, like aside from that, they also talked about their working conditions, because there has been some stuff that has come out about their working conditions maybe not being the best, especially their pay not being the best.
Right.
They also talked about that they're improving that, which is good to hear for sure. Um, but really, aside from that, Miyazaki also talked about that he is kind of like thinking about more like in the future he wants to work on more abstract fantasy, which who knows what that will even look like, because I feel like even like think about Bloodborne, like that was pretty, I mean just in general, like Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Elden Ring feels pretty abstract by
I think
itself
Solar Ash
already.
feels very abstract. And it's not Miyazaki, but I feel like that's the kind of fantasy that's like, or sci-fi even. Because
Sure.
do y'all remember it was like a ballerina game, something bound, uh, and
Oh,
essentially the gameplay involved you dancing like you were doing like ballet. Do y'all remember that game?
Nah,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
remember actually.
But then, so I feel like abstract is like to that point. It very much has to do with like psychological kind of like fantasy, or very much something that like Eldritch. Maybe he just says abstract and he just means Eldritch fantasy, where it's like not even not even comprehensible to the human mind. Um, that'd be cool. Hey man, just please give me 60 FPS in Bloodborne, please, please.
Yeah, I mean, when he says abstract fantasy, I don't even know what to think, man. I mean, what I immediately go to in my head is like the cultural mythologies, so like ancient Egypt, Greek mythology, like all that kind of stuff. That's what I think of, especially since Elden Ring tailored more into the Irish mythology, which was really cool to see. So like yeah, I think to be honest, there's a lot more there than just dark fantasy stuff, and a lot of that can do with what's it called with Greek mythology. I think there's a lot that can be explored there. There's so many depictions about Zeus and all these different heroes and Hercules and all that stuff. I'd love to see that kind of with the Miyazaki flair and with that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, I would definitely love stuff like that. But yeah, man, I guess that's pretty much it from, that conversation. Um, yeah, not too much to really glean from it, but
I can do
at the
that
same time,
mashing. Someone's going ham right now with that mashing.
Yes, sir. I'm trying to. Oh, okay. I think I know what I need to do here. I remember. I need to destroy this barrel.
but yeah, man. So Macho, you want to take it away for the Fantasy 16 stuff?
Yeah.
All,
Yes.
all that I really saw was that the people are gonna sound British, so that's all I saw.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Yeah. So I guess what I'm gonna do is I got a bunch of notes here from the interviews.
Oh goddamn!
Yeah, yeah. It's because there's a lot of interviews, man. Like they're basically it was a media wide kind of thing. IGN had their own stuff. I think Eurogamer had their own stuff too. Like a bunch of different outlets got like a really like good exclusive interviews and had a really a lot to say. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go through the notes here and feel free to jump in on what you guys think or where the case may be because there's quite a bit. But in that case, let me open it up and then we'll be good to go. Well, are you good on your mic by the way? You don't sound like you're underwater or you're not playing Fall Guys anymore, so you don't sound staticky.
Shut the hell up.
Nope, you still sound like shit. All right. Okay, so one of the first notes we have here is that the main protagonist, Clive, we saw this in the trailer too, where he was like switching between different icon abilities. They basically just confirmed that, where he's gonna have like these icon abilities are gonna be from the traditional Final Fantasy summons. So we saw before where like he had kind of like a wing attack. We could assume that's like a Garuda power. He had like a smash down attack. We assume that's like from Titan or something like that. But the coolest thing about this though, fellas, is like it's a lot like combo mixing. So when I was reading this, I think it's Bayonetta 2, where you're able to switch between your different weapons as you're doing combos. Clive can do the exact same thing, but with these summon powers, which is really freaking cool. So you can go for something like an Ifrit attack to a Titan smash down to a Garuda sweep or something like that, and that just gets me jazzed just thinking about that, man. Like as a Final Fantasy fan, I'm like, that's so freaking cool. And then for like people who just want to play action games, they're just like, yeah, this looks really cool. So, but yeah, so that's in the works there. We saw in the trailer too how there's going to be like real time icon fights, and that each one's going to be different. So it's a lot like what we're talking about with Horizon Forbidden West Cauldrons, where every one of those feels like unique and different to the experience. The icon fights are going to be just the same. So one's gonna be reminiscent of like a 3D shooter, another's gonna feel like a pro wrestling match, and the others they said it's gonna transform the entire area completely. So we're gonna get like a good mix and match of like really different icon fights, which is cool because it makes them feel a lot more unique and cinematic. So that's stuff I'm really cool. That's stuff I'm really really jazzed about, and I love how Yoshida also gave a quick shout out to like the PlayStation 5. He said in quote, making the gameplay flow at a breakneck pace is only thanks to the power of PlayStation 5 system that we can make Final Fantasy 16 the roller coaster ride that it is. I love that little quote that he gave there to the PlayStation 5. Like, shout out to you, PS5, for being such a beast of a powerhouse console. They're able to do what we can. I love it. Thank you, Yoshi P. Um, let's see. So a lot of people had questions about the party system in 16. I know, Walt, you actually brought it up too. It was like, are we actually gonna be traveling the world with like these characters, or just gonna be Clive be solo? Turns out that Clive is gonna have a couple companions, but everything's controlled by AI, so a lot like Final Fantasy 15 vanilla version, before you're able to switch between the other characters. But you will have like rotating party members, including a wolf companion named Torgal. So that reminds me a lot of Red 13 from Final Fantasy 7, and that I'm really excited about, to fight alongside a wolf pup. That's gonna be badass. Um, and yeah, I guess everyone's gonna have like their own different kind of flow to the battle, since Clive's gonna be pretty much a powerhouse with like all of his abilities and stuff like that. And so you mentioned this before too, how everyone is British. That's basically how that development team works, man. They love delving into the medieval fantasy stuff, which is a lot what you get from 14. Like we talked about before with Dragon's Dogma, how it's a lot like Old English. Final Fantasy 14 is all of that. You know, we're talking about, you know, all the yonders, all the what's it called? There's just a whole bunch of like, Old English in that entire game that makes it like so unique and so personality wise that you're just like, oh yeah, I'm back in 14's world. The same thing's gonna be with 16. How
And it also matches the time period, man. This isn't no Assassin's Creed Unity, kind of situation where you have clearly French people speaking with British accents. So thank God for that.
for sure. Yeah.
All right, I'm back.
Perfect.
Well, you got your air conditioning blowing in the background or something.
What the fuck are you doing, man?
Well, what's going on today?
Yeah,
man?
come on, man. One day out of the week, fella. One day out of the week where you don't do this bullshit. You choose the one Sunday to do all this. What's wrong with you, buddy?
I was moving around the damn room. I was doing some stuff.
You all know what that means. We all know. Everybody knows what that means.
I'm cleaning.
You're cleaning. You're in a podcast. What are you talking about? You should be engaged in the conversation.
Macho, you're playing video games. Shut up.
It sounded like he was being like carried away by like rushing water, like in a river or something. He was being taken away.
Continue.
I mean, well, Walt, tell me, what do you think of the medieval fantasy? Do you like that? Do you want more 15 where it's scientific and fantasy? What's going on?
I mean, if I'm being honest, man, just do it right. Honestly, I liked 15, and I like my medieval settings. I mean, as long as like the characters, that's my big thing. The characters are memorable. Dude, go all the way, because 13 is infamous for a lot of people, but I like the characters in 13. I like the setting in 13. I like the way that they're going with 16, and I like that they're going very action heavy, very action RPG heavy. I love that. And I actually appreciate that I don't have to control everyone in the party. I actually prefer to just have control over one person and maybe delegate here and there, you know?
Yeah.
That's why I really enjoy turn-based, because you're not just like controlling like 100 things at once. You're just giving instructions here and there, like strategically. Yeah, man. As long as the characters are interesting, do sci-fi, do medieval. My bias is always like more modern stuff, but honestly, with Final Fantasy, it's in the name, fantasy. So I appreciate the medieval section, a medieval era a bit more, because it feels like it's more at home when it does that. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, for sure. That's why 14 and 16 now are like they stand out from the past decade of Final Fantasy games, where they lean more towards like the fantasy but high technology, so to speak, which started in 6 and really kind of took off with 7.
Yeah.
And then 10 went back a little bit more to like the fantasy area, but it was more of like a weird fantasy, so to speak. This definitely feels like the more medieval stuff, which is really cool, because that's what they're all about. The 14 team, they're really about like the medieval kind of times and era, and really pay homage to that. So it's cool to see that's going to be that in a full-fledged game.
And there's a genre. I once saw this picture where it was like different landscapes, and it said like steampunk, sci-fi. Bless you. It's a steampunk.
Well, it says bless you, babe.
It said cyberpunk, and then there was one of them said like nature punk or something, and essentially it was like it's a future. You know that picture that people throw around that's like society if microtransactions weren't real, and it's like this super futuristic picture of like flying cars and like solar panels, like very eco-friendly image. I feel like Final Fantasy X gave me that vibe where it felt like it was fantasy, but there was technology strong enough to like support the Earth. I don't know if that makes any sense. So I
Yeah,
like
like
when
with airships and stuff like that. Yeah.
yeah. So I really appreciate that type of approach to a video game like fantasy sci-fi, where it very much is like Battle Angel Alita, where Salem, whatever the hell, the one that's on top of the junkyard, feels like that. Feels like a nature sci-fi, like but still corrupt environment. I like that they're going like zones, right? They're not going full open world. So I appreciate that. A lot of the downtime in Final Fantasy 15 was with my chocobo going from one side to the other, and it felt grueling. I didn't like it. Because it was just open fields with nothing, like monsters that I had killed like 100 times already, and I'm like, okay, like feel like we should just get this over with. Open world is not the answer to everything. I think open world is like pretty overrated already.
Yeah, I agree.
Look at like I just finished like look at Dragon's Dogma, look at Kirby, look at even TMNT. Like these aren't beat 'em ups. But I bet there's someone out there. What about an open world beat 'em up? Like shut up. How about shut up? That sounds horrible. That sounds terrible. I bet there's someone that's like, what if I wish TMNT was open world. Look at this city. I'm like, no, you don't know what you want. Like, be careful what you wish for, buddy.
Yeah. Open world it's such a tricky beast now because people have voiced their complaints. We know what's good and what's like average. I'm not gonna say bad because some people really do like the Assassin's Creed stuff, but
yeah, for sure.
But regardless, like we have stuff like Horizon Forbidden West that really take it to like another level, and then same thing with Elden Ring and Breath of the Wild, where like we know what good open world games are now. For
sure.
16 to kind of have their own landmark in it, it'll feel weird because you can tell that's not the kind of game they want to do. They want to tell a really personal story. Even Yoshida said it before in the PlayStation blog actually, where he was saying how oh god, where is it? I had it here. But he basically saying he was asked like what makes like a Final Fantasy game, and he was saying along the lines of like a powerful story, great graphics and great gameplay of what make a Final Fantasy game. Not necessarily just turn-based gameplay like a lot of people like to think. It's just really like every title is different, and every title takes the gameplay and the brand of Final Fantasy is someplace new, and that's what they're trying to do with this one. And open world just wasn't that case. It was just more telling this really personal story. And how can you tell like a really good and fleshed out story like 16 wants to do on top of all the gameplay cinematic stuff that they're doing, as we saw in the trailers, if it's open world? It's just going to break up the flow too much.
Absolutely. No, and I think to that point, it's tricky, right? Because you look at Final Fantasy and people go like, oh, it's not, I miss the old school turn-based. Well, you miss Final Fantasy turn-based. You can still play those games, but we still have turn-based games. You have Triangle Strategy. You had Octopath a few years ago. You still have Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest is not straying away from the RPG, turn-based classic. You have Persona games. Like, it's not we don't have turn-based. You just want Final Fantasy turn-based. But I feel like we're past that era. And if anything, we get... Oh, my.
Macho. This Quantum Horizon, there's a Thunderjaw and a Stormbird showed up. What? Please continue. I'm sorry.
Hey, at least he sounds good.
Well, shut the hell up, Macho. Get the hell out of here. Get my co-host's name out your damn mouth. But yeah, man. I think They're going the Sonic Frontier route, open zone.
Stop it. Stop it. Someone else said that. Someone else said in the podcast. I was like, shut the hell up, man. So don't compare this greatest to Sonic Front Ass. So don't do that.
Dude, it's almost like they're the same game. Like, come on.
All right, man. You're getting your points in right now because I said the same thing about Elton.
Nah, but listen, man. I'm actually like, to that point, I'm actually hopeful now that Sonic Frontiers is open zone and not open world. Now I'm like, oh, Mario Odyssey. Maybe they come out with something like that.
I think Sonic Frontiers is open zone.
No, exactly. That's why I'm more hopeful. That's why I'm more hopeful.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Is this man having a hero gasm right now? Like,
I think so.
God,
Just let him be. He'll figure it out.
Crazy, dude.
He'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. So a couple more points here in the interview here. So this game will be a complete experience. So Yoshida said there's no plan, currently no plans for any like post DLC stuff like that, which is a lot like Tales of Arise. No, it's a lot like Tales of Arise. They said the exact same thing with Tales of Arise, where there's no like story DLC or anything like that.
So should we trust that?
You should trust Yoshi P. Yes, 100%.
Okay. Then I'll trust you, Yoshi. Macho's vouching for you.
Yeah, I mean,
trust you.
Don't get on me. There's like Clive has like 4 different DLC offers for like his cape or some shit. But I'm just saying like it's gonna be a complete story. Which is what you want out of a game, right? You love Tales of Arise, right?
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. So you actually need to play Tales of Arise. Get on that too, buddy.
This man has to play Resident Evil Village. Like,
nah, he got Gold Edition. It's coming out soon.
Oh, true.
You need to play Tales of Arise.
You're right.
A great game.
Like, give me. That's why, like, I think Kirby is a perfect example of like classic. Like, beat the game once, you have a whole new game now. You know, I love that. So if FF16 is like, you complete the game, but there's some dungeons now. There's some super hard dungeons you have to do. I love that in 15, where you have to do the Castle Mark dungeon, and like there's these big towers that you have to complete. I love it, man. I love that in game. Give me that in game.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. And I can guarantee you that this game is going to have some form of end game for sure. Nothing as crazy as that, but I can guarantee it's going to have that at least.
Give me some weapons, some like the super bosses. I love that about Final Fantasy, that they always have that one boss that's like a fuck you boss, you know?
Yeah. I mean, we'll see if this one has it, because Yoshi P, he's obviously he's a hardcore MMO player, and he loves the hard content. Like, he's like, I wish we could do more, but then players won't play the game. But yeah, he's all about the super difficult content for sure.
Yeah, but I feel like every single game, every single Final Fantasy has that. Oh yeah, you need to like have the best weapons or the best skills for this section, right?
Yeah, more or less.
That's crazy.
Again, it depends on certain games, because like with 10, like obviously, I think to get whose best weapon, I think it was either Lulu's or it was somebody's best weapon. We had to dodge the lightning. Thunder? Yeah, dodge like the lightning bolt like 300 times, some bullshit.
That was Lulu's, yeah. I think that was Lulu's.
Yeah,
or Waka's. No, Waka's was the blitzball thing.
Yeah.
God, I hate that. But I love it that 15 did it pretty cool, where you needed certain materials that were only found in certain dungeons to craft like the Ultima weapon. There's always that Ultima like sword or Ultima spear. Or like how in 7 there's I forgot the name. There's some prototype like weapons or like some big bosses that you have to find in the world.
Yeah. Those
so cool, man.
The ultimate weapons.
The ultimate, yeah. I want bring back a penance level fight. You know.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people were thinking about for 7 Remake Part 3. Is gonna have all that stuff for sure. Like a big, like all the kaiju fights are gonna be in that one, because especially what happened in the story, stuff like that. And again, no spoilers, but yeah, it boils down to like just roaming the world and fighting all these giant mech weapons that were being sent from the Earth to protect the Earth, essentially, from Sephiroth. So you're gonna be fighting all those, and that's gonna be a remake. So I'm really excited to see what they do with that. But
that's such an Ultron premise, where it's like, yeah, these are meant to protect, but in reality, they're here to mess you up. You know?
Yeah, essentially to like reset the Earth in a sense, because things are just going crazy. So thanks, Sephiroth.
Thanks for being so powerful, man.
Yeah, stop being so powerful, dog. Stop changing up the timeline. Come on.
Yeah,
now.
man. Listen to this fan of yours and just go with her.
Yeah, I know, right? Making me dizzy. So, yeah, back on the 16 stuff. Yeah, so they're close to what was it? They're close to completion, or in a sense that they're basically in like that last stretch of development, but they still have a lot to do. Yoshida mentioned that they have a trailer also planned for the fall, so that's gonna be cool to see what they're gonna do there. What kind of trailer we're gonna get from there. And a lot of people pointed to the music too, like how awesome it was to have the Final Fantasy theme go with the freaking names of the Titans. And this is what I've been saying for months now, man. Masayoshi Soken is a god composer, man. I'm telling y'all, that was just a little taste of what this man can do with a composition track, man. You guys are gonna be just frothing from the mouth of like all the sequences you're gonna be doing in this game and how it's tied to the music. It gets really incredible. I experienced that again with 14 this past week, where I did the Alliance raid for which is like a 24-man raid in the game, and
24.
Yeah, just 24 people rounding up and going through that entire dungeon. And the last boss fight has his lyrical soundtrack that fucking bopped, man. It's so good. I was absolutely just freaking out. And then my fiance Sam was just like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just having the time of my life right now." Because the music with the boss fight and the mechanics and everything, it was absolutely just enthralling. It was a Final Fantasy experience. I can't wait to see what Soken does with 16, especially for these epic boss fights, man. It's gonna be so good.
I worry for Sammy sometimes living with you and you going like, oh, haywire every now and then.
The thing is, I let her know beforehand. So that's why she never worries.
Babe, remember to put on the noise canceling headphones.
Which she actually does have. So
okay.
So thank you, Apple, for doing that. But yeah, so they're gonna trailer in the fall. And then the last thing I'll say here is that let me see. They touched a little bit on the development stuff. So I was thinking when I read this question, his answer, because he mentioned before how is Yoshi P actually doing this? I showed you guys the schedule he has and how crazy it was, but he goes a little bit more in depth with his actual question here, where he's saying. PlayStation Bob basically asked him, so do you remember how the conversation went when you were asked to produce this mainline entry? What was your initial reaction? And he responds, thanks, but I said thanks, but I have my hands full with 14, so let me think about it. I was truly honored when the company would choose my section, Creative Business Unit 3, to be responsible for making the next entry in the Final Fantasy series. But as you probably know, I'm already the producer director of 14. I was worried that if I took on the directorship of 16 too, fans of both games would have good reason to believe I wasn't giving either project my full attention. To ensure the development of 16 didn't affect 14, we picked out a very small group of core team members to start with, and over the course of several years, slowly and carefully transitioned them to start to work on the new game until we had a full team assembled. With the boost in processing power, okay, that's where he talks about the PlayStation 5. But yeah, so it kind of gives you a little bit of perspective of like how these games are made. He said over the course of several years. So they were definitely thinking about this when 15 was being made. All right, let's think about 16 and who we want to be the head project of that. And then lo and behold, they actually asked Yoshida even before like the success of was it Heaven's Sword? I want to say probably Stormblood. Heaven's Sword definitely got them to a new limelight. But Stormblood was another one, and then Shadowbringers, all that stuff. So all the success of what 14's been doing, it's not like Square just saw Shadowbringers like, oh yeah, they're doing really amazing. Let's have them make the next game. No, they asked them way early on, and they built that team slowly but surely until they got what you see now, which is like an all-star cast with like the battle director from DMC5, the composer from 14, obviously Yoshi P being as influential as he is and knowing so much about the series and being such a big fan of it. And yeah, so and also the Michael Koji Fox, who's the translator. God, what's the localization producer? That's what he is. He's the localization guy for 16. He's a localization guy for 14. He's absolutely like he's a beast. On top of being a really great singer too. So, but yeah, so that's basically kind of like the wrap up of the 16 interview. There's a lot more information out there, but I just went through the nuts and bolts here to give you guys like more of a different like option on like 16 its development process. So summer 2023.
And they said he also said another trailer in the fall, right?
Yep. We got another trailer in the fall, which ties in with what, Tokyo Game Show?
I mean, do you think that, or the the PlayStation showcase in September?
Maybe.
But, like, does that really constitute as? Well, I guess that is fall, right? September.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's like summer where it's like later in the month.
Yeah.
But still, it would constitute the fall. So I would think Tokyo Game Show, because I think Tokyo Game Show is like what, November or late September, something like that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I would just think that Sony would want that on their showcase, kind of like the state of play. But
For sure.
who knows?
But what do you think about 16, man? You want to give your thoughts on here?
I'm excited for it. I mean, literally, I was similar to Plague Tale. I was sold on that reveal trailer. That reveal trailer was pretty fucking awesome. But yeah, man, I'll play day one just like I did for 15. So.
Whoa.
Yeah. What?
Wow. I don't know. It's just you sometimes surprise me, Soul.
Is that surprising?
Yeah, I don't know, because sometimes you're unpredictable in your opinions. Like. Yeah. Sometimes you'll go, oh, this
say like that's a proud badge.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
like 1 minute he's like, oh man, like I don't know about Resident Evil. Next thing you know, you're playing all the remakes. Next thing you know, you're playing Destruction All Stars. Next thing you know, it's like, wait.
Which, hey, I'm it's not looking too bad.
Right? Yeah, right. Did you see all those 101 trailers? Yeah, on your sub.
I might be heading back to it.
Yeah, I bet you will.
There's a new game, Roller Champions. It's like a roller skating. No. There's like an actual multiplayer like free game, Roller Champions or something. And it's like it looks like Fortnite but with roller skates. No, but Roller Drum I'm looking forward to. But yeah, man, it's like I like that in this podcast. Like we're not predictable. I feel like none here. If anything, the when it comes to certain games, we know what the other's gonna say. Like if Final Fantasy is muttered in the distance, you know who's gonna come from the crevices of the earth. If you hear,
just come out from under my rock like a starfish.
Yeah, like a damn goofer, like.
That's hilarious.
But I mean, it's cool, man. Oh yeah, see?
Yeah, man.
Never let them know your next move. This man. But yeah, man, I'm excited for FF16. I can't wait for that steelbook. I can't wait to see that steelbook, man.
Yeah,
it's gonna look so good. Oh man,
I just can't wait for that soundtrack to come out, man. Like seriously, like Masayoshi Soken is. I was listening to Endwalker soundtrack the other day, and it's
goddamn.
It's exactly.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
Exactly,
yeah.
That's how I felt too. I was like, God, it's so good.
So I like that when Soul plays a game, he becomes the soundboard. He does. God damn it.
But yeah, it honestly just makes me think like how much I love this soundtrack and the soundtrack for 14. Yeah. That 16 is just absolutely gonna blow it out of the water for what he does, man. Because somehow this guy just keeps improving on everything he does, and it's absolutely magical what the guy does. So really excited to see what he does with 16, with all the main themes and stuff like that. So it's gonna be really special. So.
It's pretty mid. Yeah, it's pretty mid. I don't know.
Hey, man. No, dude, listen, if Sammy can actually buy the soundtrack on her own because she liked it so much, then that tells you something.
They're doing good. No, yeah. That's like, I feel like a game, the RPGs, or JRPGs rather, the good ones, the soundtrack, impeccable. Sometimes you'll have a moment of like a Tales of Arise where it's like, it's good, but it's It's
it's whatever. Yeah, it's whatever.
It's fine. It's not. I'm at the gym, Spotify worthy. It's not like even to like how Lord Cog. You always see. I mostly see like Destiny songs. I feel like Destiny is one of the few games where even if you detest the game, the music is absolutely magical. Same with Endwalker. You can like never play Final Fantasy 14, but do yourself a favor and look up that soundtrack and listen to it.
Yes, sir.
Because it's phenomenal. Same with Persona 5. It's on Spotify as well.
100%. Yeah, I'm glad you said it because I was thinking it that I mean I'll say it later in the podcast too, but I was actually looking at more video game soundtracks, and the fact that you said Destiny reminds me I need to listen to that. Because I was just listening this past week to on top of 14, I was also listening to the Monster Hunter Rise soundtrack. And are you surprised, Soul?
Yeah, he got surprised there.
This is the most stressful fight in this game, dude.
Yeah.
You need to be a streamer.
This man became an anime protagonist.
Yeah, I was saying let's get Soul to be a VTuber. That'll be the funniest thing in the world. But yeah, the Monster Hunter Rise soundtrack is absolutely impeccable. It's so good, man. I can't believe I missed out on listening to the soundtrack for this long. Like, it's incredible. I love the main theme, like the victory theme. Like, it's so good. Such great music. But yeah,
it's like FromSoftware.
This has to be the goddamn stupidest kid in the entire universe of Horizon.
I'm just saying I like soundtracks, dog. It's like
this kid gets himself trapped in a little cave where Thunderjaw and a Stormbird are walking around. Who does that, man?
Listen, man, he got tunnel vision. Am I right?
This kid better be the fucking
I got your joke. It just
thank you.
He's ignoring.
He's like, nah, I don't even. No. We're real random, but it's because we once talked about it and never again. We mentioned the name once, and I don't think anyone here played it. Did y'all got to play Jet: The Far Shore?
No.
No. I know what game you're talking about.
That was a game that we were like, oh yeah, no man, Jet, like the ships and like it looks cool.
Oh no, I didn't say anything about that.
Never again.
You know what's funny is that you know how everyone, when was it, last week or 2 weeks ago when the Xbox showcase happened, everyone was like, oh wow, they showed games that are coming out in the next 12 months. Isn't that so cool? But like I was kind of thinking back on it, and I was like, do you guys remember the first PS5 reveal event in June 2020? Like, most of those games came out, like, within, like, the next year, right? Like, at least, like, the big guns, like Demon Souls and Spider-Man and Ratchet and Returnal, Solar Ash
it was the
2021.
PS5. That was the summer that the PS5 had like its own like reveal, right? Like its own.
Yeah, the very first one where we saw the console for the first time.
Yeah.
Solar Ash, Kingdom Bridge of Spirits. That's when that game was revealed. Bug Snacks. Like I'm looking back on that, and like most of the stuff there was like out in the next year. You know, aside from like things like GT and Horizon, of course. But for the most part, like
I think God of War 2, right? Wasn't God of War Ragnarok?
That was the September one.
September. Okay. And it's crazy how
that
like
one had Final Fantasy as well.
Yeah. It's crazy how our next gen console was announced, and it already had like a slew of exclusives on release. That's crazy.
It's almost like
Sackboy and Destruction All Stars were there too.
Yeah,
like,
man.
All came out. Yeah, so I don't know. I thought it was interesting.
What were you saying, Macho?
No, I didn't say nothing.
It's almost like what? No.
I didn't say nothing.
Say it with your chest.
No, I'm just saying that Soul was right. Like, yeah, like they had a showcase. They show like the first 12 months of the console, and then everyone was like, "Oh, that's nothing." But
like my thing is, and again, it's interesting to see where these two companies like differentiate. It's not like Sony like shouted that from the rooftops there. You know what I mean? Like they didn't make a big marketing point about that. Like Xbox did with all these graphics and like, this is what the next 12 months of Xbox looks like, right? Like Sony was just like, here's a showcase, here's when these games come out. Like wash their hands and there you go.
So to that point, I feel like it's interesting you mentioned that. Now that I think about it, those showcase, aside from the indie ones like Wholesome Direct and the Freedom Games showcase, they needed to like tell us like, listen guys, like in another way they told us, listen guys, I know we've been talking shit, but be like temper your expectations, because even Summer Game Fest was like, I know, this is not for everyone. Jeff was like, this is not for everyone. Some announcements, some people will like them, and not everything's for everyone. And that's like his way of like, guys, chill. I know we've been hyping shit up, but chill. Same with the showcase. It's like 12 months. But then PlayStation's like, no, just, we're making a game. Okay, cool. And then same with Nintendo. Oh, Breath of the Wild sequel is coming in like 10 years. And it's like, okay.
You know what's actually really funny you say that, so because I know a lot. I know and saw a lot of people saying, "Well, PlayStation did this kind of showcase. They will just be praised. They will get praised, and they did get praised, and so did Xbox. So I don't know, like, what's your point? You're getting games. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, and it's in the next 12 months. Don't we want that? Do we want games soon? Anyways, like, I'm glad that with. We got a lot of great announcements,
We did.
Definitely want a blend of both for sure.
Oh, dude, for sure.
But
Yeah.
Anyway, we can quickly touch on the whole. I don't know if you guys saw this. The whole thing about John Garvin and Michael Mumbauer, who was the head of VASG before he left for That's No Moon, before leaving That's No Moon to now set up this new studio with John Garvin, who was like the writer at Bed Studio, who wrote Days Gone, and then he left that studio. So basically these two have teamed up to make their own AAA studio, and their first game is a new IP called ASHFALL. Which is a blockchain AAA, I think open world game. I think they said open world.
It's an open world for NFTs.
Yeah, but basically the main point was it's a blockchain game, which is very, very interesting. So
interesting. Yeah.
In the sense of, hey man, I'm glad these two are no longer at PlayStation. So yeah.
Those are big facts. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, you have a really good like business insight into wanting to start this kind of stuff. That doesn't mean I gotta listen to your ass, because I'm just not gonna care at all. Anytime I see the word blockchain or NFTs, I'm immediately just zoned out. I don't care.
And again, this is the same thing that I said with Redfall. Like, using fall in your game's title does not make it cool, man. Does not make it cool.
Babylon's Fall.
A god fall. like the list just goes.
Oh,
and
man.
And Redfall, like the list just goes on and on, man. Like, it's not cool. Like, it was cool back in like
PlayStation
the early 2000s.
Oh no, that's all. Not no F there. Just it's the F. It's the F, because you can have all, just no F. What other? Is there more fall? Isn't it crazy how that's like a thing? It's like Gate, like Baldur's Gate, Stormgate. Like there's these names, these words that just you can throw in a generator and be like, that's the name of my game, Like, it's like when you go on Twitter and it's like replace one word in your favorite game with the word erection, and it's like one of those things. It's like Metal Gear Erection or some shit like that. It's like Metal Gear Gate. Like, it works. Metal Gear. I don't know.
I think it's a lot to do with like psychology and like the way like people.
Oh, hell yeah, man!
It's one of the reasons why a lot of Disney movies only have like one word actions. Like of characters like Frozen and Tangled,
Turning Red, or Inside Out. Exactly. It's like it's words that are also like they roll off the tongue. Like when someone came up with the name like DualShock and Sense,
Yeah, like me. Yeah.
Like you, yeah. Oh my God, Disney is like you, macho. Oh my God.
Hey man, it's catchy and it rolls off the tongue. You love to see it.
Absolutely.
But it's definitely not the falls, though. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
I agree with Soul there. That trend needs to die now.
I got two more examples, and that is Greedfall and Titanfall.
To be fair, Titanfall, fantastic FPS, but what do you call it? What was the other one you mentioned? Greedfall. Greedfall, it had its shortcomings, but there's a strong foundation, and that's the thing. Like, certain games
makes no sense.
It makes no sense, but it doesn't have to make sense. Sometimes you just put sometimes they're too on the nose. Farm Life Simulator, and then sometimes it's like, Returnal. That doesn't make sense. They're just put two words together.
Returnal makes more sense than
I feel like
Greedfall.
Returnal's a kind of a dumbass name, dog.
It's
You
a dumb
said
name.
it,
It's a dumb name. It's a dumb name,
Exactly.
but it makes sense. It makes sense as to what Selene.
It makes sense in the
what's happening
context
to
of a
Selene.
sci-fi world. Yeah, no, it's an eternal return. No, I get it. I get it.
That's all I'm saying is that like with things like Titanfall and Redfall and Greedfall and Babylon's Fall and all this stuff, it's just like at that point you're just putting two words together, right? Like it doesn't
Absolutely.
with Greedfall, like it makes no sense. Like what is the Greedfall? Like it makes no sense.
The fall of
with-
greed.
Yeah, like I feel like the best titles in games are things, or just titles in general, is things that are like actually like meaningful into like the actual like story or what's happening within that story or whatever, you know. Like I don't know, when you look at a box and you see Greedfall, you look at Redfall, like that doesn't tell you anything about what the game is about. Like, yeah, I don't know.
What do you think is like the stupidest name for a game? Like the stupidest name you've ever heard?
Persona 5.
Listen,
There was hey, you shut your mouth.
listen.
There was
You
a
chose
game,
violence?
oh. There was wait, wasn't this a category for awards last year, or did I
What?
dumbest name in
Dumbest
Because-
name?
yeah. I'm pretty sure it was.
I don't. For what award? For us that we did?
For our awards show last year, yeah. I'm pretty sure that was in a category. Because there was this one game that came out last year called Record of Lodos War Deedlit in Wonder Labyrinth.
Jesus.
And I said that right there is the dumbest name I've ever heard for a game.
Did you read that or did you remember that?
No, I read that.
Okay.
I remember Deedlit. I was like,
Okay.
I remember that. 'Cause I don't know what that means, but I remember that.
I mean, if I were to go for like the dumbest name, sorry, Kingdom Hearts fans, but we got quite a bit of them. Especially the one collection with Aqua, as that was the Kingdom Hearts 3 demo. It's called Kingdom Hearts.
Fragment Passage? Or
It's
something
no,
like that?
it's Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep 0.2, a fragmentary passage.
Jesus
But
Christ.
but then like again, this is me not knowing anything about Kingdom Hearts, but like Birth by Sleep just sounds fucking cool. And same thing
Yeah,
with like
yeah.
Dream Drop Distance, like that sounds fucking cool. Same thing with the
Yeah.
with like Crisis Core, like that just sounds fucking cool. You know what I
And-
mean? I don't know what
Yeah.
any of these things mean, but they sound cool.
At this point, they're just saying 3 words with the same initial letter. Okay, DDD, BBB, CC, you know? It makes
the same
sense.
thing- it's the same thing with Devil May Cry. Like,
Yeah.
at that point, you're just putting words together, but it sounds fucking cool when you say it. So
What,
I'm
what
down.
like Devil May Cry?
Yeah,
Yeah, Devil May
Especially when somebody announces like Devil May Cry. Like,
Yeah.
Or Resident Evil.
yeah,
That's
you know?
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's true, but it
Where
sounds
it's
cool.
Biohazard. Yeah, no,
And
I feel you.
it doesn't make sense. Like what the fuck is a Resident Evil? Like that literally doesn't make sense. But it sounds cool as hell, so I'm cool with it.
Or even
I like-
or even another one, Fatal Frame. I think that sounds like a really cool.
Yeah.
Fatal Frame, yeah, no, for sure. Or like some are very straight to the point, like Yakuza. And then you have Yakuza Like a Dragon, where it's just, the main character, he's trying to be like a dragon. He's trying to be like the best. And yeah, sometimes it's just as simple that you can get, but then you have like Cyberpunk, it's just the setting, or Crash, that's the name of the character. But Scarlet Nexus is a cool name. I think that's a badass
cool
name.
one. Yeah, it's a cool
You know?
one too.
But yeah, man, what were we on? What were we talking about?
We're talking
Oh,
about
we're
bad
talking about
video game
ASHFALL, man.
Oh, right. I forgot.
Yeah, there's clearly an easy joke to be made with that name, so I feel like they're gonna regret choosing ASHFALL because I know what's his name, Bond on Weapon Wheel. He's definitely gonna call it ASHFALL. like come on, man.
Yeah. Now, honestly, I can see this game just actually being like a fart in the wind. A lot like David Jaffe's Drawn to Death.
Drawn to Death, yeah.
And what's his name? The guy who did Gears of War. He did that
Oh
Battle
yeah,
Royale game.
Mr. Gears.
Lawbreakers.
Yeah.
Oh my God, bro! You know what the pitch for that was? You know, this is like
It's
Overwatch,
not
but
Overwatch?
Dark Souls.
Yeah.
It was like he said
his
this
pitch
is the
was that
Dark
it's
Souls
not-
of shooters, of like hero shooters.
Yeah, and his pitch was that it's not Overwatch, which is like,
Oh my
that's,
God.
that's
And
what
it
that's
came
when
out-
Overwatch was popping. Like you're like, why
That's-
would you do that?
That's what sucks, man. If that game had come out like later, it would have done better. But it came out at the same time as Overwatch. That's insane.
Yeah, man.
That's insane.
I don't even know about that, man.
No, I think it would have done way better, even just a little bit better. But he hyped it up too much for what it was.
Yeah. But yeah, that's why I think of ASHFALL. It's gonna be a fart in the wind. It has NFTs. It has things that nobody wants in it, and it sounds generic. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna attach anything.
And like, this ties to well, I don't know. This is totally just like speculation, but it makes me excited that both Garvin and Ross are out of Ben's studio, because it feels like those two specifically like were really sort of like, I don't know. I feel like that studio now, I'm really excited for what they're doing next, because it feels like they're really going to be able to like stretch their creative legs and their wings and be able to do something interesting, because it feels like Garvin and Ross kind of pigeonholed that studio for a while with Days Gone. So like, I'm excited for them specifically, and maybe the same thing happened with VASG with Mumbauer being there, because I don't know. It's just weird that like your previous studio head is now working on an NFT game. Like, I don't know. I feel like just based off of that alone, it makes me think that like that guy was probably not the coolest to work with, and now that knowing that now he wants to do an NFT game, like I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they're not there anymore.
All I can say is there's going to be a few whales that are going to be involved with that game, and then that's it. It's going to be a whale game. That's it. It's going to be a marketplace where some people are going to make a quick buck, because you know it's going to be just like incentivizing like purchasing these absurd like characters for the open world. A lot of Bored Apes, man. A lot of Bored Apes.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it really. I want to put my tinfoil hat on and be like, this is just like a PR, like PR announcement to get investors on your side for your studio or something like that. Because I had the same thoughts with like Square Enix president too, where like he said like beginning of the year we're doing NFTs. He recently just had another interview. Yeah, we're thinking about doing Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy and story single player NFTs and stuff like that. And a lot of that's just like, are you like really serious? Or are you just kind of like bullshitting just to get more investors on your side to like just be more invested into the company because you're following this trend, but you're not really acting on it, so to speak. I don't know, man. I have no idea if John Garvin and this other guy are doing the exact same thing or they're very serious, but I think they're following a trend that's going to die very quickly.
I bet he's serious. I bet he is. Yeah, man. So that's it for ASHFALL. That's probably, to be honest, guys, that is probably the last time we'll ever talk about it on this podcast.
I agree.
Yeah. We should probably close out the podcast with something a little bit more serious. And obviously, yesterday, Roe v. Wade got what was it, overturned, right?
Yeah.
That's the word. Yeah. And something happened that I feel like I've never seen this happen. Like, I don't know. I like in any space. Like I was in class when when this was happening, but obviously, you know, tons of studios, you know, tweeted out, you know, their support for, you know, basic human rights, essentially. It started with Insomniac. That was the first one I saw, and then it was just like it felt like the floodgates just opened, where it was just like Insomniac, and then here's Media Molecule, and here's Gorilla, and here's Santa Monica, and Sucker Punch, and Naughty Dog, and like London Studio, and like one after the other, like all the PlayStation studios just like tweeting out their support for you know, in favor of Roe v. Wade and you know, basic healthcare needs and human rights. And again, like I feel like I've just never seen anything like that, and like it felt really, really powerful, especially when you take in the context of, you know, the whole Jim Ryan email. And you know, now like it kind of like spurred this question of like, okay, like was this, you would have to assume that Sony had to have okayed this, that they changed their tune. But then like my other thought was like, oh, did they go behind like Jim's back or something? I don't know. I would have to assume that Sony okayed that, because all the images that they posted were relatively kind of like in the same fashion. I don't know if you guys noticed that, right? Like they all kind of basically said the same thing, and they had their logo at the end of it. So they're all structured the same. So that's why I think it was okay by Sony. But yeah, what do you guys think? What was your reaction to seeing that all happening in real time? Like, it was really, really amazing, to be honest.
Yeah, I love the unification of it, man. Like that's what we're talking about, especially when it comes to these studios. Like they're all under one umbrella, but they're also independent, and that's why I love that Insomniac was the first one to kind of lead the charge, so to speak, on
Yeah,
being like, we understand what Jim Ryan said, what Jimbo said in that email, and how deftone it was, and it's again, we're no stranger to Jim being really sort of out of the loop and what the community wants, so to speak. Like we understand where he's coming from in most cases, but that one, especially
right.
when Roe v. Wade was actually was way out of line, and to talk about how about you want a dog and talk about your cats is just really weird. So to see Insomniac really being like, we understand what he says, but listen, this is not how we roll.
Yeah,
So we're gonna lead the
it was
charge
almost like,
here.
yeah, and as you say, like, lead the charge. It was almost poetic that it started with them, right? Yeah, I thought that was really cool. But Wall,
Well,
how did
detail.
you
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
mean by what?
Like it was poetic.
Because the whole thing about I don't know if you, I feel like we did talk about this on the podcast, but how, like, internally, like, Insomniac had a really big problem with what Jim said in that email, and there was like internal fighting about that at Insomniac, and Ted basically was talking to the whole studio and was like, they tried to
Oh,
they
really?
asked Sony they asked Sony, like, if we could, publicly speak about this, and Sony shut them down. That was the whole thing about Sony, like, quote unquote, like, muzzling their studios, right? And
Oh,
in internal messaging, Ted was like, "Hey, like, this is a battle that we won't win," with in terms with Sony, about, like, being able to talk freely about this, because we are a subsidiary, we are owned by Sony. There are certain things that we can't do, and there was employees that, like, legitimately asked Ted in kind of company wide conversation, like, are you now regretting, being owned by Sony now because of this?
interesting.
Because we don't have this independence to be able to just say whatever we or tweet out whatever we want. And Teddy was basically like, although, we there are certain things that we can't do, let us not forget that because we have been underneath Sony, that we have been allowed, like, a ton of creative freedom and autonomy and stuff like that. So yeah, it was this big, like, leaked sort of internal conversation at Insomniac.
Yeah.
And it basically ended with them making this donation to, like, kind of like what Naughty Dog did. Neil and Evan, they made this donation, and then Sony matched it. But yeah, that was leaked, like, literally, I think the day of or the day after the whole Jim Ryan email. So yeah, it was really interesting stuff. But yeah, I say
Thanks for breaking
poetic.
that down. I was kind of just ignorant of that. So
Yeah, so I say poetic because it really felt like, I don't know, like, Insomniac kind of, like, I don't know, started is the right word, but, like, I feel like they were the big sort of, like, studio in opposition to what Jim said, and for them to kind of, like, start this, the floodgates opening that started with them. I feel like it kind of felt like it was, like, full circle almost.
that makes me even happier that you mentioned that they were sort of like the first one then, because that's
Yeah.
yeah. Because I think this is a really big issue, and I'm happy to see that that all these companies, right, all these developers that we follow, that we really idolize in a sense, because they make experiences
Respect.
that we love, yeah, and respect as well. That that they're setting up and saying that we're not just about games, and we're not relegated to just games. Like, there's people and humans that make these games.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when people were like, oh, what does they say, that they're like, oh, just stick to games,
Yep.
or like
Hmm.
things like that, and it's just like these are real fucking people behind these games that are entitled to, express their thoughts and opinions and feelings and emotions. They're not just machines in a factory churning out these things. Like, there's actual living, breathing humans behind your favorite games. So, like, to treat
Yeah.
them as nothing more than just, mindless zombies, solely there to create for your expense, is so fucked up.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
what about,
jump in. I know you just got back, so.
yeah,
Yeah. Um, it it's
well,
interesting,
what
right?
was your reaction to seeing, like, the everything go down on Twitter? You're seeing one by one each studio kind of release their statement. What was your reaction to it?
Honestly, I felt very like it was a good reminder of these companies. There's humanity behind them, right? What was so reassuring of that is the fact that not only do they, support basic human rights, they support, they understand if someone needs to travel, they need expenses covered, they're going the extra mile, I mean, with what little we can do, because this is much bigger than just, corporate situations. This is something that's on the very humanity and federal situation. It was very reassuring of, as a community, we might bicker and we might be, toxic at times about like consoles and whatnot, but at the end of the day, it's all about humanity. It's all about, protecting human rights and protecting each other and making sure that our bases are covered. And it's times like about that. So like, it's times like that when you see all these companies coming forward that people then start noticing silence probably means no support, or it means that the bigger umbrella is not allowing for that to happen. If that makes any sense. For instance, like Insomniac under PlayStation, if Sony had said you're not saying anything, they can't say anything. But this just shows that more and more acceptance from higher ups, hopefully, is being brought out, and it's being shown just how much this affects not just not just people, but days to come, like the future. Like essentially, humanity is at stake. Like there's a lot of it's and this is what's been like the biggest comparison, and it's very real this last week, and it's the fact that when guns are getting more protection than humanity, seeing this come out, it's a lot. It's very good to see these companies, come forward with these statements.
And that's the thing. And like I don't want to get too into the weeds in this, but like it's just so contradictory and ironic where these people, they claim that they're pro-life, but at the same time, if they were truly pro-life, then you would see harsher restrictions on guns and weapons of mass destruction here within the US and stuff like that. But like no, you don't see that at all. So like if they were truly pro-life, then you would see restrictions on these things, but no, of course not. That's why it's not about them being pro-life or about them wanting to protect the baby. It's solely about control and money. That's all that it is for them.
And it's how people are calling it. It's not anymore pro-life. It's just forced birth, pro-birth. Like it's not even, because let's face it, once they're born, they don't care.
Absolutely. There's this absolutely fantastic George Carlin like little stand-up thing, but he does the same thing. Like once you're once you're eligible for, or once you're homeless, or once you're without a job, or whatever the case may be, once you're like 9 months old, you're fucked. You're on your own essentially. So
and it sucks. It's horrible. But yeah, man, I don't know what the future holds. I know that the fight is not going to end. Companies, I hope they keep the same energy throughout history, throughout the end of their days. And this is not just a momentary thing to like gain, hopefully, clout. I don't like it when people utilize these situations for clout chasing, which there very much are people like that.
But then you have companies like EA where they just don't say, they put out a statement, but it's like what's the saying? It's like word salad. Like there's just nothing in there, man.
Yeah.
like they put out something, sure, but like it said nothing in there. So
yeah.
You can be like EA, or you could be like Insomniac and Santa Monica and Naughty Dog. So
and it's crazy how, again, there has to be like a simple way of putting it, and it's the fact that providing birth has been around since we've existed, while firearms have been around for the last couple centuries. So what's more important, something that is truly ingrained in humanity or something that you created, selfishly in terms of a concept, in terms of your justification? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what. And another thing to put in perspective, the U.S. is still one of the youngest nations to be formed. And it definitely feels like it. It feels like this is like that one kid that just does not get reality. Still lives in that little bubble of, the 1800s. We'll see, man. We'll see where this goes. What we can say here in the podcast is that just like those companies, I mean, we very much are aware of the rights that people deserve. And this is very much a basic right. Just like people have the right to, freaking marry whoever the fuck you want. Yeah. You should be able to do whatever the fuck you want with your body,
Yeah, it's like this kind of stuff. Like it absolutely just frustrates me to no end, especially someone that works in news, and to see this stuff just kind of happen and not really have much that I can do about it. It sucks, especially when it comes to like I want to start a family, and the fact that this kind of stuff is going to affect my future daughter or even my fiance and stuff like that. It absolutely infuriates me, which is why it's hard to talk about and even hard to kind of realize that it's just like the reality we live in. But again, that's why I hope that with people listening to this podcast, you can get a laugh, you can get, even for an hour or two, you can just leave that all behind you and not worry about it for the time being and just enjoy the moment we have here, especially when we talk about video games. So, but yeah, just I'm glad it's so brought up because I think it's something that obviously we recognize and we don't ignore. But at the same time, we just want you guys to know that we're here for you guys and we're with you. So,
yeah, and if this is a space that whenever you tune in, this is the only reminder of what we are in tune with. But this is not a topic that we're going to discuss every single time because we want to make sure that this space is just somewhere you can escape a little bit, where we can clown on some dumb CEOs and talk about our trashy taste in video games,
Exactly, especially if you like Persona 5. Like, if you like that, you might as well just stop.
Especially if you think Kingdom Hearts is like a cohesive story, Which, by the way,
listen, man, I saw Atlas tweet again. They're going to another expo for merch.
Listen.
I got the biggest laugh out of that one.
Next week, I'm not gonna be in the podcast because I will be in Anime Expo in Cali. So, hey, man. I don't know. I'm gonna be buying some Atlas merch, baby. Yes, sir.
Dog, man. I saw that again. I'm like, wow, announcing more merch. You can't even get Persona 6. Yo, Persona 5 was what? 2015 released?
2016.
2016? Y'all haven't gotten the game in 7 years?
Hey, man. Come on.
Hey, man, we got Shin Megami Tensei. We're getting Soul Hackers, baby. What's up? What's up?
Hey,
by the way, Soul.
I'm just saying,
Soul,
the Final Fantasy fan, I'm eating. That's all I'm saying. I'm eating right now.
Soul, how much was that Terra statue from Square Enix? What was that, like $16,000 or something?
It was $12,500 for your goddamn information. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And another thing, before I let you bring us home, I'm gonna just touch on something real quick. I was on Twitter, right? 19 minutes ago, a friend of the show, Mr. Badbit, tweeted this. After falling in love with Returnal, it's time to check out another Housemarque classic, Matterfall. Another fall game. There you go, buddy.
Yeah. But yeah, kind of wrap that up. It was just really cool to see, all
absolutely
PlayStation Studios come
love
out
to see
and, leading, almost we talked about, Insomniac leading the charge for within PlayStation Studios and feeling poetic, but then at the same time it felt like they were leading the charge for the industry because they were kind of the first ones on that day to really say anything, and it was kind of oh, is anyone else gonna say anything? And then slowly but surely we saw people Devolver come out and Ubisoft and EA.
Yo, when I saw Ubisoft, I was like, I don't know about that one, Chief.
Call for meeting.
Sure.
Bam.
It's cool you signed a statement, and I saw a couple of devs from Ubisoft even saying yeah, I'm so glad that I'm a part of the company that defends this kind of stuff, and I'm just oh man, what about a couple months ago though?
Yeah, what about when women didn't sell in video games, right? I don't know. It's just a couple things to think
I
about.
don't know. You can only improve by going forward, but even then, that was just like, I don't know that one.
Yep.
Buddy.
Yep.
But yeah, man. We'll see how this continues, man. On that note, let us wrap up the podcast by talking about. You know what? Actually, we got a new subscriber, so welcome, dude.
Hey, welcome on in.
Yeah. So yeah, man, let's close things out by starting these outros. Before we do, actually want to remind everyone to go ahead and like the podcast. We already have like a ton of likes on this episode, so thank you guys for tuning in and liking the podcast. We appreciate
it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so yeah, let's get started with these outros. Walt, why don't you kick things off for us?
First, I want to thank the people for bearing with Macho's takes. I want to thank the people for. I wanna.
Asshole.
Listen. Right now, all my takes are fresh and minty. Why? Because I got the Persona breath.
Yeah.
The fresh mouthwash.
Cabbage is also fresh. That shit tastes like shit. Let's see, man. I'm gonna be playing more Dragon's Dogma. I'm really loving it. That game. I was in a lull, y'all. I'm gonna be honest. I was in a lull.
You were laughing out loud. What?
I was kind of in a game slump. I didn't know what to really play.
Almost sounded like goddamn Mickey Mouse right there.
Oh man, not Mickey Mouse.
Oh shit, pause. But I'm gonna be playing more of that Dragon's Dogma. Playing more of my Switch. I'm gonna be tackling a couple indies. I'm gonna be playing Owlboy. I haven't finished that game. I remember playing it a while back. I'm gonna restart it. I just don't remember much of it. I remember loving the game. Very zen game, a cozy game, if you will.
Check out Cult of the Lamb too. That demo on Steam.
Ooh,
really
yeah.
Good. It's really
I'm
good.
gonna download that. That's actually what I'm gonna do then. I'm gonna download Cult of the Lamb. I wanna shout out Hero Gasm. Fantastic episode. If y'all haven't watched The Boys, definitely recommend it. I definitely recommend also watching, if you haven't, because I watched it for the first time this last week. I watched Star Wars Rogue One. Never watched the movie. One of my favorite movies ever now. Now I'm watching A New Hope because I've never watched that movie. I'm really enjoying it. I'm halfway through the movie.
Nice.
I can't wait to get through more of these Star Wars movies to see what all the fuzz is about. Here is like a phenomenon and nerd culture. We'll see what's that about. But yeah, man, more games, more shows, and more food because I'm starving.
Yeah. Macho, what about you, man? What's going on this week?
Yeah, punk.
Yeah, so today's gonna be Until Dawn with a fiance. I'm really excited about that. It's gonna be her first time, so
yeah, you sound excited.
I was just thinking about. I was thinking about the
why are you going at my boy, man?
Yeah, man.
This boy's a fraud. He never played Kingdom Hearts.
It's okay, man. I'm gonna keep playing my Final Fantasy games while you're stuck with Persona 4, 3, and 5 for the rest of the next 10 years.
You take that back.
But yeah, so we're playing Until Dawn. It's gonna be great because I think I'm just gonna let her play the entire thing. So we'll see what she chooses and how she reacts to everything. And then it's going to be more Crisis Core, and you guys keep talking about Dragon's Dogma, so maybe I'll fit that into this week. And yeah, so one of the things I actually want to do for recurring in our podcast from here until the end of time is to recommend a video game soundtrack, since I know I talk a lot about video game music, and obviously I want to recommend some to anybody who's interested. So for this week, I'll choose the soundtrack for this week is going to be Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII. I've been listening to that nonstop as well during some work time along with Monster Hunter Rise and 14. Just it takes the Final Fantasy VII music in a new direction. Instead of having the usual pianos and violins that we usually hear in these soundtracks, it actually puts in the acoustic guitar, gives a whole new vibe, a whole new identity that just fits the entire game. And I definitely recommend it. So check out the Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII soundtrack on YouTube if when you get a chance, man. Definitely good listen to, and then I'll keep recommending soundtracks every week rather in the podcast. It won't be just RPGs, I promise. I already got a couple in the line. I'm like, all right, this would be a good one, and it's gonna range from everything from like Red Dead to Last of Us to all this kind of stuff. And yeah, so definitely listen to the soundtracks. There's great stuff. So, but yeah, man, that's it. That's all I got for you guys.
You know, real quick, because on that note of recommending something to listen to, may I recommend 30 More Bit Minutes with Rooster Teeth's own Elise Willems and Jessica Baslami. Fantastic podcast. They talk about some morbid stuff, but they actually educate you on the origin of that and whatnot. They just finished season 1 of the podcast. They're going to start later this month, I believe. Like, I think the 27th, maybe? Season 2. Just so y'all know what it's about, one of the episodes, they talk about grave robbing and the origins of grave robbing and essentially how that works and what the reasons for people doing it are. Fun fact, not so fun. People used to rob graves because they would donate it to hospitals so that they could perform studies, essentially making a great buck from that. I didn't know that, and that's disgusting.
That's pretty cool, actually, though. I like that.
Yeah, very educational. They talk about Mount Everest. They talk about demon possessions, but like actual situations that have happened, with a little comedy in there because Elise Willems and Jessica Baslami, they're Rooster Teeth is, they have a lot of comedy content, so they're very entertaining to listen to. So check that out on Spotify and everyone you're listening to your podcast.
Oh God.
What? You got something to say? Say it with your chest.
I was just reading some more 343 Industries shit just came out.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Oh
yeah.
God, yeah, I saw that.
Or as Bond likes to say 043.
Oh
hey,
yeah.
yo.
Yeah, just God damn, it just feels like every week there's something with them. Yeah, so
damn, look at the
for me,
calf on these turtles. God damn. Sorry, go ahead.
I forgot to mention this during the games played section, but I actually downloaded the the Saints Row Boss Factory. So I could so I could design my character. It's so like before the game comes out, it's like this little demo where you can actually just like go in there and design your player character before the game comes out. So like you import, the character you create in this thing into the final game.
So you're not gonna play Saints Row.
I think I am, man. I need something to play during the fall. Yeah, I need something.
Which
to play
one?
in the fall. The new one.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the only one we're talking about.
Listen, man. So that was really the don't let them know your next move kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know you're right. Well, actually, you're right.
That was like, what the fuck, Saints Row? This man, you're the only guy that's like goes from Divinity to Batman to Saints Row.
No one's talking about Saints Row. Then you just run out of nowhere.
This man's like, hey, Destruction All-Star's looking kind of nice. And it's like, wait, who are you?
That's hilarious.
Soul is literally an alien trying to like blend in with like video game taste.
Bro, I'm trying to see if he's actually all about that farming simulator, though. You let me know about that one, all right?
No, I'm gonna pass on that one.
Zoo Tycoon.
Oh, brother.
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you, Chief, but I ain't playing that one. But yeah, so downloaded that and just messed around with it really quickly. Walt kind of brought up The Boys, and like I was kind of thinking about this yesterday. Just what a great year it's been for TV, man.
Fantastic.
What a phenomenal fucking year it's been for TV. I was just thinking about it myself. I just recently finished Wilds on Amazon, and then Last Kingdom on Netflix. Peaky Blinders just came out. Umbrella Academy season 3 just came out. Obviously, there's Stranger Things.
Better Call Saul has been coming out.
That too. And then of course The Boys season 3.
Shut up, Macho.
I'm saying nothing.
But like, yeah, man, it's just been like it feels like
Miss Marvel's apparently is good.
It's really good. Yeah, Miss Marvel's really good too. Yeah.
It feels like this year more so than like, I don't know, the recent years. It just feels like when one show ends, there's like another one on like quickly on the horizon. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, that I forgot. Yeah, this one's coming out, or this one just dropped. Oh, cool. I'm gonna check that one out right now. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's no shortage of like things to watch right now, which is like pretty damn cool. So
like games.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I agree. See, if you're a little more, if you have a little more taste, yeah, you can find all the games that you like. So
Oh man.
Absolutely. You don't feel that AAA burnout, am I right?
Oh right. 'Cause apparently it's so wrong to like AAA. But yeah, man, that's gonna do it for us this week on the DualShock and Sense podcast. So yeah, we'll catch you guys next week. Actually, it's funny that Walt says that he's not going to be here because I don't think I'm going to be here either on Saturday because of school. We have a field trip to the Museum of Art in downtown Orlando. So that's where my lecture is going to be.
Art in downtown Orlando. What does that even look like?
I haven't been there since I was like 10 years old. So
you know what it looks like? It looks like a museum of art in downtown Orlando. That's what it looks like, Macho.
That's so original. Well, I'm crying from laughter.
Which might be a bad episode to miss because hey, boys, God of War might be on the
it's on our exactly. Man. So you tell me I have to live stream myself and talk about God of War? Oh man, I'm so not used to talking to myself.
We'll see. We'll figure something out.
Yeah.
You said that like you definitely don't like you definitely do talk to yourself, right? So yeah, guys. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace out.
Hold on, I forgot that I was streaming. I actually gotta go into the menu here.
Oh yeah, man.
This is special for y'all.
I'm sorry.
Very professional.
Which button do I press? Hold on.
Bye, everyone.
No, hold on. What button do I press? Okay, hold on. All right, I found it. Peace out.
Macho doesn't know how to use a PlayStation 5.
Where's the turn off button? I don't know where it is.
Golly.
Where's the power off